Stand a brave Parnell and taught him well and truly persecuted. Where are the stares and jeers that you proudly let us hear when our heroes of 16 were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Killashandra. Show your wife how you won medals up in Derry. You murdered 16 men and you'll do the same again. So get out of here and take your bloody army. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Killashandra. Oh, come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders.
Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Here we are, chat. What's going on? It's early Tuesday hours. How are we doing? How are we doing? Hope we're all doing really good. Got a bunch of stuff that I want to go through today on the stream. It's going to be a short one. It's going to be... Well, it's an early one. You already know it's an early one. And we got a lot of stuff that we're going to check out, hopefully, in the next 3 hours. Because I got to go to the GMTU committee meeting and be a committee guy later. How are we all doing? It's good to see you. Thanks so much, everyone, for being here so early. Yeah, this is the kind of time that I want to be, you know, streaming in general. Lots of things have happened over the past couple of weeks that have meant that I've been streaming later and later and later. So hopefully tomorrow I'll be live at this time again. Fingers crossed. We'll see though. You know what I'm like. It might be later. It might be earlier. I don't fucking know. The long and short of it is that I'm here and I'm queer and that's it. I don't know. I got morning brain. Literally morning brain for me. I've been awake for about 3 hours, so you know, this is what you get. But it's good to see everyone. How are you doing? Louise, thank you so much for stopping by briefly. Please everybody go follow Matriarchetype. I'm not sure if she streams as Matriarchetype on Twitch. I'm pretty sure she does. Maybe dual stream sometimes at the same time that she streams on YouTube. But go and follow her anyway. Go check her out on YouTube. She's great. We got Ori as well. How are you doing? Good to see you. Conrad, great to see you as well. And everybody, please go follow Conrad and Queen Pib. How are you doing? Good to see you. Good morning, Americans. Hope you're doing all well. Hope you slept fantastically. Also, go follow Queen Pib. She's amazing. Duke of Blonde, how are you doing? Lexi West, good to see you. Just Johnny, go follow Johnny as well. It's going down. What's up? Here and there, cold is better. Good to hear it. Atom Fellows, how are you doing? Good to see you as well. Yo, hold up a hot second because this is a YouTube chat. Please go and follow Atom Fellows. Absolutely incredible content creator. I'm sure that you stream as well. So here's a link in the YouTube chat. Here's a link in the Twitch chat. Please go and show him some love. Great to see you. Great to see you. Pleasure to have you here. Hope you're doing well. Been a while since I felt this good. But yeah, going to be working on getting myself to a better place now more actively. So yeah. Oh, fantastic, Ori. Yeah, great to hear it. Great to hear it. Hey, Val, how are you doing? Bordrella, how are you doing? What's going on? Glad you're doing great, Ori. Paid to be up this early and I hate it. Yeah. Yeah, you know, if there's one thing that I know from streaming for fucking 6 years is that you attract an audience that is similar to you in a lot of ways. And I think most of us here are like not morning people, innit? You know what I mean? I think most of us here are like, get woken up in the morning. Yeah, sure, it feels good to wake up early and be part of like, you know, the world as the sun rises and all that kind of stuff. But I think on top of that, it just makes you feel like shit anyway. So it's neither here nor there, but anyway, that's that. But I'm really glad to hear that, Ori. That sounds like progress. Obviously, I don't want to pry too much into your personal life, but it sounds like you've been doing a lot of work to, you know, get in a good place, physically, mentally, all that kind of stuff. That's great news. We're here, we're queer. My headphone doesn't work in the right ear. It does, but only after I washed it, which is not a great sign. So my tinnitus has been getting better. I don't know if I've told anyone about the tinnitus that I've had, but I'm absolutely certain that it's like, this is a bit gross. So mute the stream in like 5 seconds if you don't want to hear about this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. I think it's like compacted earwax. Pretty grim, pretty gross. But it kind of makes sense that that is what happened at the end of me having like a disgusting sinus thing. You know what I mean? Gross. So, but I think it's shifting. And so my tinnitus is like less intense now. My ear is feeling less full. But I have registered at a new doctor's, which is completely insane because for years and years, was going to this doctor that was about, I don't know, it's like a 15-minute walk from my house, and I always thought this was the only doctors in the area. But I realized that there's a doctor's literally 5 minutes from my house. Not even 5 minutes, 2 minutes from where I live. And so I've registered there now, and I'm hoping that I can go and get my fucking ears syringed anyway. Because if it is just earwax, then buzzing. My hearing is a lot better than what I thought it was, which is great news because I thought it was very bad and it was going downhill. So, you know, fingers crossed I can fingers crossed I can get some better hearing out of this whole situation. So there you go. Is it just me or is there desync between video and sound? Okay, let's check this out together because I have been messing around with some stuff. Let's have a little listen. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. No, it looks good to me. I'm afraid. Sorry about that. Wait. Shush. Think seems okay to me. Seems fine to me. Yeah, you fixed it somehow. Good to know. Good to know. We got some new people in the chat that have just come in while I was just talking about that. B-Rat. Good to see you. I curse so loud the neighbors could hear me if I get a work call at 9 a.m. Well, they should be awake, shouldn't they? What are they doing? I can't believe it. Hey, Steph. Thank you so much for liking the stream on YouTube. Yeah, please like the stream on YouTube if you're watching the stream on YouTube. It does help me out. Gomba Master, how are you doing? Good to see you. Don't mind doing stuff in the mornings if I'm already awake. Well, yeah, it does kind of hamper your ability to do stuff if you're asleep. Hey, Huskadoo, how are you doing? Welcome in. Is that why you stopped playing? What, DJing? No, I stopped DJing because, well, it's all in my latest video. So if you've not watched my latest video, then go watch that. Can't believe you just out yourself like that as having not watched my latest video. And you're a patron as well, Layla. I can't believe it. You're literally in the credits of the latest video, and you've not even watched it. Why are you even a patron? I don't understand. Literally caught in 4K. No, it's fair enough. Like, you know, look, I understand wanting to support on Patreon without actually watching the video. I do understand that. So don't worry. You don't have to watch the video. But, you know, there's an incentive for you to watch the video, isn't it? Because I talk about all the history of my creative endeavors in that video. So there you go. Adam, what's going on? Good morning, good afternoon. How you doing? Great to see you. Mordecai, how are you? Great to see you. Great to see you. Comed in. Yeah, that's right. Comed right in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've just reminded me that I need to do something. Don't even start. You reminded me that I need to do something. Don't. I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget. Make sure to come inside. My house at the end of the day when I come home. What did you think I meant? My dad? No, not yours. You're a good chatter. No. Excellent vid. Loved it. Thank you so much. That means the world coming from you, Atom Fellows. Really appreciate that. Atom Fellows does some absolutely incredible work. You really should go and watch. I'm gonna drop their link in the chat again, right there. Please go and support him. Incredible YouTuber, incredible artist is how I would put it. Adorable, how are you doing? Yeah, long time no see. Oh my god, how are you doing? Great to see it. No, cum jokes have not changed. They've not changed. Last video was a banger. Thank you, Ori. Yeah, appreciate that. I'm glad everyone liked it. I think I fucked up some of the shit in the algorithm for it though, because it's not nearly getting as many views as normal. But I don't know. That could be other stuff. I'm not sure. Generally speaking, it might just be that like people just don't want to watch it. But I did test something out on the VOD channel, right? Because you know, like you get all these YouTube channels that are like how to grow your channel. All this nonsense, and one of the things that one of these guys was saying is that there's an option that you can untick in when you're publishing a video on YouTube, and that option is to notify and publish to subscribers' subscription feeds. And this guy was saying, you need to untick that, because if you've got loads of subscribers and they don't all watch your video, then you need to untick it so that it gets recommended to other people outside of the subscription thing. So I tried that out. With 2 past streams that I published. I think it was on Sunday or Saturday or something. And it was bad. It was really bad. One of them in the first 12 hours got 0 views compared to like my average of like 10 on the VOD channel, you know. So like 0 views in 12 hours on the VOD channel is super bad, even though it's the VOD channel. Like I still get like a bunch of views on the VOD channel, regardless. So if you're a YouTuber and you've heard that advice, don't do it because it's bad. Don't do it because it's a bad idea. I don't know. I think you got to check your analytics and shit. You know what I mean? If you are in a situation where like most of your subs don't watch your videos, then maybe try it. But I think the figure to go for is like 10%. So if you are a YouTuber and you got like, let's say for example, I've got 7,000 subscribers. If I get less than 700 videos, if I get less than 700 views on a video, then I should try and do that. I think that's what they're trying to say. But it is do you know what? I say it's very rare. That has never happened. That has never happened in the last like 2 years of making content. So yeah, I'm not going crazy about that. And you would get Warhammer 40k tech priest cults, but trying to work the YouTube algo is the most tedious version of that. Yeah, for real, it is. It is, B-Rat. Yeah, it is. What else was I saying? What else was I trying to talk about? New doctor. Doing the committee meeting later. Yeah, no, I think that's it. Tom's fucking crazy. Tom's absolutely like got so much energy right now since I got him on this new raw food. It's absolutely fucking wild, chat, and I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to like, not sure I'm gonna be able to handle it. He's acting like an actual kitten, which is really cute but really annoying. So like this morning, for example, because it just gives him so much energy. I think that's what it is. I think it gives him like an actual appropriate amount of energy because his body's like, oh, I'm finally getting the nutrients that I need, apart like outside of that fucking shitty Felix stuff, right? And so I fed him his breakfast this morning, and the first thing that he started doing is like some of the netting that I have. I just have it like blocking some of the unders of the in the flat, so that he doesn't like go under there, so he can't hide under there if there's an emergency or something and I can't find him and get him out. And so that netting, he was like chewing on it, and then I looked at him and he chewed a bit off and then fucking ate it, and I was like, what are you doing? And he was literally doing it to annoy me so that I would play with him. That's the entire reason. He was just doing that because he knows that it stresses me out. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't fucking deal with this. So I played with him for a good half an hour and he's sorted out now. But god, it's just absolutely wild how much of a difference it's made. It's just absolutely wild how much of a difference he's made. Just giving him a different type of food that is supposedly like what he's supposed to have as a cat, you know? There's the whole machine learning prompt guys crying over their prompts being taken. Oh yeah, these AI guys. Yeah, that's nuts. I saw something on Twitter yesterday that was like, there was an artist who does like a lunchtime sketch thing when they're at their day job, and they post it on Twitter, and someone in their replies did an AI version of their lunchtime sketch prompt, and I was like, Jesus wept, man. That's fucking so insane. Like, I'm sick of these people, man. I'm fucking sick of them. Absolutely vile. And what else has been going on Twitter? Well, you know, we'll have a quick Twitter rundown of things that I've seen on Twitter. Did anyone see the stuff about Helen Joyce? Anyone know what Helen Joyce has been up to recently on Twitter? Ori knows. Yeah, Gumba Master seen it. Yeah, that's right, bud. Yeah, Atom Fellows. Well, you know, hey Woodbug, what's going on? Yes, sorry, 30 minutes ago. Look, here's the thing, right? It's understandable. It's completely understandable that she mistook it for Goblin fanfic, right? It's completely understandable. I saw Neil from Leftist Cooks, but spelt incorrectly. Steph, is that a Freudian slip, or are you disparaging? Are you disparaging our friends at the Leftist Cooks? How dare you? The Leftist Cooks. It's so funny. Hi, Mark. Yeah, how you doing? Many such cases. Yeah, well, let's be real about it. She's reading fanfiction porn about children. That's what it is. It's fanfic porn about children. And I don't know if anyone saw my tweet about it, because I think my tweets are like, they're not performing as well as they normally do. Oh shit, what's going on? What is going on? Unelectable Airwaves. Thank you so much for the raid. How are you doing? What's going on? Welcome in, everybody. Please go check out Unelectable Airwaves. Hang on, I'm trying to tab autocomplete the fucking name, but I got a bunch of the fucking got a bunch of your emotes. Thank you so much for the follow, everyone, already. Thank you so much. Yeah, please go check out Unelectable Airwaves. Great leftist streamer. Excellent channel. How's it going? How was your stream? What were you up to? Realan, welcome in. If you don't know me, my name is djmuel. I'm a leftist political streamer. I'm also a housing activist. I'm a YouTuber. I'm one of those annoying video essayists, but I try and be a bit more radical about what I do. Yeah, you're all doing good. Welcome in. We're just talking about Helen Joyce and how she was watching. Well, she was reading. She was reading CP, wasn't she? Child porn. She was reading Harry Potter fanfic. Completely insane. So let's be real about it. Chat. Yeah? Let's be real about it. That's what's going on. She's constantly telling people that trans people are a threat to child safety. And she's out there doing that shit. Right? And the funniest thing about it, again, I don't know if you've been. Thank you so much, Anonymous Gifter, for gifting a sub to Unelectable Airwaves. Here's the thing, yeah? Here's the thing. What she said in her defense, thank you for the follow. Excuse me. What she said in her defense, I'm going to show you real quick. Helen Joyce was reading cisgender heterosexual pornography about children. Literally nothing to do with trans people, just graphic references to 16-year-olds having sex, and here comes the excuses. The role of fanfiction in young women's adoption of trans identities is an ongoing research project of mine. Right, that is fucking the Pete Townsend defense. Right, you all know about Pete Townsend from The Who? He got caught on a website looking at child pornography in 2003. In 2003. And said, I was doing research for my autobiography. What? No, you fucking weren't, dog. Just keep posting through it, man. You know what I mean? Just keep fucking posting through it, you absolute fucking scum of the earth. Piece of shit fuck. He still got to do the Super Bowl halftime show years later. Yeah, that's right. That's right, he did. Won't get fooled again unless you're literally everyone in the world. Actual nonce. Noncing about. I guess that can't be wrong because it's about him, but like, what the fuck? I know, it's so stupid. It's such a stupid defense. Such a stupid defense. Gay fanfiction had a huge hand in making me realize I was trans, but teens reading and writing about other teens is not the same. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's not. I don't think that you get to be like, oh, when teens are writing about other teens, then that's a really important thing that I need to research that. Like, I just can't, like, I can't abide it, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it would be completely different if you were like proper psychologist, actual, like, you know, doing proper research that's backed by other scientists and all this kind of stuff. But she's not. She's a fucking hack. She's a transphobe. She's got brain poisoning. You know what I mean? That's literally it. It's just media representing other identities so people learn. Social contagion bullshit is unacceptable. Yeah, well, that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to do social contagion stuff. 100%. Anyway, that's that. So that's the Helen Joyce stuff. Obviously, complete nonce shit. She's a blogger. I wouldn't even say that she's a blogger. I wouldn't even say that she's a blogger. She's written a book that's like absolutely vile. Talks about things like rapid onset gender dysphoria. It's all like debunked stuff about trans people. Just like an absolute fucking twat. Yeah, exactly. What trans kids today are even touching Harry Potter media? Exactly. It's just so... It's an excuse. She's a nonce. They're all fucking nonces. I'm absolutely convinced of it. Every single one of them. It's like the Israel shit. When reactionaries are doing this, I'm just looking at stuff because I want to protect children, yeah? If that's like the forefront of their arguments all the time, I'm absolutely convinced that they're just noncing about. I'm just convinced. It's like every accusation is an admission shit. You know, because arguably leftists are more concerned with actual children's safety, but you never lead with that conversation, do you? Because we understand intersectionality and like children's safety like becomes adult safety as it goes, do you know what I mean, as people develop. So we understand that from like a very like easy material understanding of it, right? You know what I mean? Who would write something like that? Potter? Well... You mean J.K. Rowling, right? I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyone that trots out protect the children about keeping information from children wants to protect their access to children. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're fucking right. Anyway. That's that. That's what's going down on Twitter. There's also a bunch of, like, some of the most disgusting people of all time. Trying to say shit like what Aaron Bushnell did is mental health and really bad, and we shouldn't be talking positively about it and all that kind of stuff. And one of those people who was saying that not only called me the R word, right? Not only called me the fucking R word, but also was just straight up saying the N word. And you know, I don't like to assume that someone is or isn't a certain, you know, skin color just based off the kind of things that they post. But I don't think this guy was allowed to use that word. You know what I mean? Just saying the N-word. Anyway, Venn diagram with genocide defenders. Yeah. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. So there you go. Some really cool Twitter interactions. I'm so glad, actually, that I'm back on twitter.com. Very good. It's been great for my mental health. No, it hasn't. Speaking of which, listen. We are very, very close to getting to the last stream of the week. Yeah? The last stream of the week. Yeah? So, what I want from you, chat, is 10 people, 10 of you, and I know there's about 10 people here right now, yeah, to consider, just consider it, you don't have to do it, but if 10 of you sub off Twitch and support me, yeah, in being able to pay my bills, my rent, get my groceries, take myself out on little dates, the boy, look after the boy, get the boy new treats, new toys, then please consider donating £5 off of Twitch. Why do I ask you to sub off Twitch? Well, Twitch is a terrible platform. It bans people, friends of mine, like Kira and Dan, for talking about Palestine. It also doesn't ban other people who are making them a lot of money for talking about exactly the same stuff. And furthermore, Twitch has a culture of misogyny and bigotry. More focused on misogyny, really, but I think like also racism and queerphobia, but absolutely like fucking bigotry all over, all at the heart of it. So please consider subbing off Twitch. Please consider going to my Streamlabs tip link and subscribing for exactly the same amount that you would pay on Twitch. I wouldn't ask you to pay any more, any less. £5 is all I would ask for. If 10 of you do it, we will hit the goal every single day. Yeah, just need 10 people to donate £5. It's not much to ask. And if, we hit the goal, it means that we will be doing an educational stream. Yeah, educational gaming stream where I'm going to be playing some classic 90s educational games on a Saturday. It'll be just like how it was when we were growing up. If you're my age, if you're not my age, you'll have a window into what shit was like for us when we had our days off school and shit, if we were lucky enough to have a PC back in the day. So think about that. Please consider subbing off Twitch. And Oregon Trail, that has been mentioned to me. Yeah, that has actually been mentioned to me. So maybe I will check out Oregon Trail. So you're not the first person to mention that. I'm in San Diego. I don't know. Probably not that. We've been thinking about Orly's Draw a Story, if you know what that one is. We've been thinking about Legend of the Zoombinis or The Adventure of the Zoombinis, whatever that is. And some other stuff. Some other, like, worse ones that are just really crusty, because it would be very, very funny. Yeah, the Oregon Trail is supposed to be pretty good as well, about zombies, innit? But listen, here's the thing, chat. If you can't sub off Twitch, if you're not financially able to support the stream, don't worry about it, yeah? Because what you can do is you can retweet the Go Live tweet and the Blue Sky post about the stream. The Go Live post, the Go Live skeet on YouTube, innit? On Blue Sky, yeah? So please consider doing that. It means that even if you've got no followers, even if you've got literally 0 followers on your account, if you engage with the tweet, if you engage with the skeet, if you like, retweet, repost, and reply, it means that you can actually boost me up in the algorithm, yeah? Skeet is the worst variation on tweet to hear. Yeah, well, you know, that's what it is. All I'm going to say about that is that I didn't make the decision, but that is what it is now. I get why it's skeet. Yeah, because it's about cum. And it's funny. Blasting those skeets into the void. Thank you so much, Real Line. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. I love Zombinas as a child. Hey, Confero, good to see you. Those are the 2 names I remember. I'll probably recognize most of them. Yeah, right, yeah. There's fucking loads out there, innit? There's loads. Very exciting, you know? Could be very exciting. So consider subbing off Twitch. Yeah? Consider supporting the stream. Right, okay, listen. We're going to crack on. We're going to get into the politics section. So please, get your hazmats on. Be prepared for terrible takes. Be prepared for chuds coming into the chat. It's going to happen. Yeah? It's going to fucking happen. But we're ready for it. First thing we're going to be watching today, it is Shaun's new video. It's just called Palestine. Yeah? And Shaun was worried about this not getting as many views as it normally does. So I would argue that we can help him out a little bit by doing what we always recommend people do, which is support our leftist content creator comrades. Yeah. Go to the pinned video, pinned thing at the top of the whatchamacallit, at the top of the chat. Like, comment, subscribe, watch it in a muted tab alongside the stream. All right. Watch this on unelectable airwaves? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, now you get to watch it again with a cisgender white man giving his opinion about it, which is really important, isn't it? You know. I don't know much about unelectable airwaves. I was about to say another. Oh, what's this?
I like education.
Thank you so much, Anonymous, for the £11.70 dono. Thank you so much for subbing up Twitch. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. Listen, Anonymous doing some heavy lifting right there, yeah? Anonymous doing some heavy lifting. Did 2 chatters donos, innit? 2 chatters donos. Yeah? So, just think about that. Thank you very much, Anonymous. Right, exactly, yes. Say thank you, chatters. Say thank you to Anonymous for doing that heavy lifting. He's not British. Right, well, there you go. So now you get to see a British cis white guy talk about Shaun's video, innit? Important commentary to have. It's important to have my opinion, isn't it? This is sarcasm, by the way, just in case anyone's reading too much into this. Okay, so thank you so much, Anonymous. Thank you so much for the £11. Thank you so much for subbing off Twitch. Taking us to £447.98. Yeah? It means that if we get another 9 donators who are donating £5, literally only £5, we'll be so close to £500. Yeah? So close to £500. And that'll make me very happy if we get there either today or tomorrow or the day after. Well, I'll be really happy if we get £600. But think about that education, chat. Think about that education. Need to amplify British voices. This is the truth, really. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, right, listen. We're going to crack on and we're going to check out Shaun's video. Don't forget, chat. Like, comment, subscribe. Show Shaun some love. I think he's doing all right for views, but it makes sense to boost this anyway. You know what I mean? In whatever way we can. So let's crack on.
The ongoing events in Palestine.
Pull that back.
Hello everyone. Today I'd like to talk about the ongoing events in Palestine. Now, talking about an ongoing event isn't all that usual for me on this channel.
Audio okay
Honestly,
versus
I've
my
found it
voice?
hard to focus on anything else recently, which I'm sure a lot of you will understand. So instead of me wallowing in my thoughts, I'm going to share them with you in this video.
Gonna go grab a jacket,
I can
rapid.
remember the exact point when I started to really think about the Israel-Palestine conflict. It was seeing this picture taken in 2014 by Middle East correspondent Alan Sorensen. In it, a group of Israeli civilians can be seen on a hilltop overlooking the Gaza Strip. They'd brought chairs to watch as the Israeli military bombed Gaza as part of Operation Protective Edge, and they were clapping when the bomb blasts were heard. This is
this was fucked. I remember
documented
seeing
by
this
the New
shit,
York
yeah.
Times, ABC, The Guardian, and other news organizations. Before this point, I had a very naive and simplistic view of the Israel-Palestine issue. I thought I understood it as a conflict between two religious peoples who had competing claims for the same area of land and occasionally killed one another over it. But I also understood that for some reason, Israel was supposed to be the good guys,
right,
the morally superior ones, allies of the West in the Middle East. I didn't know why that was supposed to be true. I just knew that that is what my government and other governments in the West were predominantly saying.
And
now,
we get lied to.
picture,
We get lied to from an early age, telling us that our governments are the good and correct ones. And the brainwashing starts super early on. We believe that we're in the free and the correct countries, and you have the freedom to do what you want, and that's a good thing, actually.
Put a crack in that impression. I knew that civilians were dying in those bombings, and these people were clapping and cheering for it. The asymmetry of people on one side of a border being slaughtered while people on the other side of the border threw a party to watch it happen was unbelievable to me. And
by the way, this happened in the recent conflict. I'm sure he's going to bring this up, but the recent conflict. Sorry, not conflict. The recent fucking massacres. The recent genocide. Catgirl Step with the 1312.
What a nice little scully guy.
Thank you so much for the 1312. Catgirl Steph doing more heavy lifting in the chat there. With the £11, that makes it about 15 quid that we've had so far. So we only need 7 more. No, it doesn't. 20 quid. It makes it about 20 quid, does it? Yeah. 25? Hold up. I'm fucking so bad at maths, chat. 1170. Yeah, about 25. Yeah, about 25 quid. Shh. Anyway, that was a good number. Maybe you could repeat that number in the chat. I don't know. It's up to you. I don't know what it means, but it's a good number. Yeah. So we've got £25 there. That's basically half. What's that? Realam with the 420.
Forehead.
Thank you so much for the weed amount. Thank you so much for subbing off Twitch. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. Listen, one more donor in a row. Yeah, and you know what that means, innit? Means that we're going to get a hype train. Means we're going to have an unofficial hype train. So thank you so much, everybody. One more dono. I don't care how much it is. Hype train happening.
Though I was very uninformed on the particular conflict.
Let's fucking go, chat. Thank you for supporting the stream. Thank you for subbing off Twitch.
In general, I thought, obviously, that's not right, is it? That can't be right in any circumstance to do what those people are doing. Now, the obvious shallow response to this is to point to a time when a group of Muslim civilians in the Middle East have cheered on some terror attack on the West or something like that and say, see, they do it too.
Look, they do it as well. It's just as bad.
And is a very childish rejoinder, as them doing it too would not get you off the hook for doing it. But also, it is different, isn't it? It's very different, because I'm not being asked to support that. My government isn't saying that's good. You see, my government supports just one side in the conflict. It gives military aid and diplomatic cover to just one side in the conflict, and their argument for this, and Israel's argument for why it should be supported, is that Israel is a bastion of Western-like...
Come on, chat, I got a great fucking video for you. Let's see one more dono.
...liberal values that need to be protected against the implied barbarism of the surrounding Muslim majority countries. And thinking about...
Mordecai says there was an interview made by Danish TV that interviewed one of the ladies who was there that talks openly and proudly about how they should all be killed in her opinion. It's the most normal thing to say in her opinion. There are fucking Israelis who are literally there going like, I am literally a fascist. And the interviewer is being like, wow, so unpolitically correct. Wow, such an interesting way of looking at things. Wow. Like just doing... fascist apologia for Israeli settlers, like a deeply, horrifically radicalized, that is the thing. Every accusation is an admission. And when Israelis say that Arabs are just like disgusting, barbaric, horrible, fascist Nazis, blah, 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 they're talking about themselves. They're talking about their own fucking populace. Because every single person who makes the birthright journey to Israel gets radicalized, psychologically abused, and then coerced with money. Layla with the £1. Layla with the £1. Thank you so much. Right, that's it, chat. We're having an unofficial hype train. But let me just finish this thought. They get coerced with money.
Salome, 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 Salome.
Thank you very much on Electable Airwaves for the 300 bits. As I was saying, they get coerced with the money that the Israeli state offers them, which is obviously, part of the huge aid packages that they get from the UK, EU countries, USA. So they get free healthcare, they get free housing, they're encouraged, they're given money to like kick Palestinians out of their houses with weapons, and whatever happens to them is inconsequential. They don't get punished for it. So, that's the society that we're dealing with. Jaeger 8 Larson, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Good to see you. Layla says, honestly, I just wish that I could do what my granddad did in her childhood, taking the train from Damascus to Jerusalem and then going to Egypt to get the records for her dad's record store in the 30s. Right, this is the thing. Do you know what I mean? Why do people in the Middle East not have that option? Why do they not have that option? Because of imperialism. Literally because of imperialism. So much meddling in that fucking region from our disgusting, horrific government. Anyway, listen, I'm sorry, VOD watchers, but we got to lose you. VOD watchers, you're back in. That was a good music video that only ended a few seconds ago. Yeah, for sure. We definitely didn't watch a load of this video and then me forget to bring you back in. Yeah, that's right, chat. What a great music video that we just watched. God damn it. Anyway, co-host early DJ. Is it my birthday? No, it's the committee meeting day for Great Manchester Tenants Union. Extended music video was incredible. Yes, it was, wasn't it? Anyway, hi co-host, welcome in. The Lebanese docu-movie accused of being Pallywood. Wait, which one? We accidentally put on the entirety of Tubular Bells. Hey, I would probably do that if I kept getting donos. If the donos just didn't stop, you know? Oh, the one that Shaun's talking about. Right. This is literally from the Lebanese documentary. Yeah. I feel welcomed in. Good to hear it. Right, okay. I can't show this because it's got like actual blood on it, I'm afraid. So yeah, just gotta skip the visual for this.
See people being directed how to move as if they are actors. We can see a makeup artist applying makeup to a child, and that child later posing happily for the camera while covered in fake blood.
Oh, it's fake blood.
We uncovered some insidious Palestinian plot to fool world opinion by faking videos of injured children. No, this is a film set. This is a behind-the-scenes video from the set of a Lebanese short film. It seems staged, because it is, and they seem like actors because they are, because it.
The vid is muted when you change scene. Oh, Adam, literally the only person in the chat to bring that up. Okay, let me figure that out real quick. I think I know where that is. Pretty sure I know where that is. Let me just copy, and then yeah, you're right. It's not going to be heard, is it? It's not going to be heard. Okay, now
it's a movie. The cynicism of this one is really quite something.
Can still hear it now.
Who was aware they were lying the whole time, remember, took the behind-the-scenes footage from a film set and falsely claimed it to be currently happening.
So what was going on there was this was a film set, right? So it was fake, but it was a film set. And that's the end of it. Hey, Kaylin, good to see you.
In Gaza, in order to make people think Palestinian children injured by the IDF are actors faking their injuries, which is just pure evil.
Absolutely.
There's more to report on than we have time for here. There's the 3D animation of the huge Bond villain tunnel network apparently under Al-Shifa Hospital, which completely failed to materialize after the IDF gained access to the hospital. There's the clearly faked audio intercepts of bumbling terrorists admitting to whatever the IDF is accusing them of that day.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is all pointless, remember, with regards to whether it's okay to murder children. And
yes, it is correct.
Because to
Based.
simply make a top 10 IDF lies debunked video would be to take one side in an argument which I do not believe should even be occurring.
Yes.
Regardless of what the IDF says,
absolutely.
What it is doing, the whole thing is wrong.
They'll never get the accent right. Literally never.
I want to believe that we should know this by now. We being humans in general, I guess. This argument should not be happening. One of the main things I've been feeling is that these events feel out of time. The retaliatory punishment of civilians, the targeting and destruction of civilian infrastructure, the sheer extent of intentional civilian deaths and injuries, and the justifications we see offered for all of this, they seem like things that should only be read about in history books.
Right.
I've read in history books about some of the atrocities committed by colonial empires against the people they were colonizing, and what was done and how it was justified will seem very familiar to anyone looking at the current situation in Palestine.
Absolutely, and that's probably why Shaun unfortunately got this Holocaust context under his video. Because some Israelis probably were looking at it and going, he's making apologies for the Holocaust, he's Holocaust denial.
The thing should not be happening now. The rhetoric used to excuse it is extremely out of date. We know this is wrong, and yet it is still happening, right? Governments that profess to know that this is wrong are nevertheless supporting, funding, and arming it. Certain liberals who claim to support freedom and equality for all are sitting on the fence and refusing to call this what it is.
Liberals.
So why is that? There is a worrying tendency to attempt to hide behind some claimed complexity of the history, as if it's simply too difficult to understand without a PhD in the history of the region, and thus who can really say if it's
Hey, Bonbon
okay for the
C3PO.
IDF to blow up all these children today. Maybe there's some justification lurking in the very complicated history.
Focuses on mouse near the end of the video. Cool.
Cowardice you hear from people
That might be why
who
it's
don't want
there,
to
yeah.
admit that they're not living up to the values they would like to think they hold. They'll condemn atrocities, but only in retrospect, once the bodies are buried and the historical consensus has already formed.
Right,
The history
absolutely.
of Israel and Palestine is complicated in
Your alarm
one
made you
sense,
jump.
in that
Sorry.
a lot of things have happened.
Well, it is something to be afraid of if there is a lib somewhere in the chat. If liberals are mentioned in any way, shape, or form, that is something to be concerned and worried about.
Morally, the situation is not complex at all.
So I understand that
The more
reaction.
you learn about the history
It's an
of the
appropriate
region, the
reaction,
less
yeah.
morally complex things become. The history of World War II is complicated. The history of human slavery is
It's true,
complicated.
Blue.
But the acts of genocide and slavery are not morally complex.
Am I having a pint?
And
No,
so
I'm
it
not.
is with
No.
Israel and Palestine. I'm going to talk a little about the history of Israel and Palestine.
For a start, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've been awake for 4 hours. And also, I'm sober. So no, I'm definitely not having a pint. It might be in a Guinness glass, but it is in fact water.
Now, just to give some
There you go.
background to current events, but I would highly advise that you read The 100 Years' War on Palestine by Rashid Khalidi if you would like a more in-depth history from a Palestinian perspective.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, if we're going to talk about the history of Israel...
You know what? That's the thing. I've been saying it's nearly 100 years, but it is 100 years, isn't it? It's still 100 years. Like, even if you, like, most people are counting back from, like, 1948, which is the end of British Mandate Palestine, where there was the UN partition plan, right? Perfect time for a beer. It's talking about the UN partition plan for Palestine in 1948. That's where the 75 years comes from. But yes, that's correct, Layla. The Balfour Promise was 1917. And that's when Zionist militias were being armed by British Mandate Palestine. So it's over 100 years. Actually, more than 100 years. The longest apartheid, colonialist, imperialist regime. And the only reason that people have ever been worried to actually speak about it is because of the connotations of what might happen if you speak up against this imperialist project, and the fact that Israel has so successfully weaponized anti-Semitism to defend any kind of genocidal acts that it does. And that is sickening, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. Theodore Herzl was talking about the Jewish ethno-state in the late 1800s, yeah.
Israel and Palestine. First, we need to talk about Zionism. Zionism, just reading the Wikipedia description for brevity here, please nobody tell H. Bomber Guy, is a nationalist movement that emerged in the 19th century to enable the establishment of a homeland for the...
I mean, if you're going to read the Wikipedia entry on a video, if the Wikipedia entry has got, like, good sources in it, I think that's fine.
Jewish people in Palestine. The father of modern political Zionism was Theodor Herzl, an Austro-Hungarian journalist and political activist who was of the opinion
Hey,
that
Danica,
Jewish
what's
people
up?
needed to establish their own state,
Good
as
to see
he
you.
believed anti-Jewish sentiment would prevent Jewish assimilation into other states. Early Zionism encompassed a broader range of positions than you see expressed today. Where should this Jewish state be, and how should it be established? Different locations.
It's really good because essentially Shaun is reaching like a massive audience with this stuff of people that I think might not have thought about this kind of stuff. 1897 was the first Zionist Congress, yeah. And I think that that's really powerful. This is all stuff that we've been talking about on this channel for months now. But overall, I think this is really fucking good because, again, it does mean that, like, there's more people. This video's got 500,000 views. That's fantastic, and more people need to be seeing this.
Were proposed. Theodor Herzl considered the possibility of creating a Jewish state in Argentina in South America. In 1903, the World Zionist Congress voted in favour of a proposal to create a Jewish state in British East Africa, an area which roughly corresponds to modern-day Kenya. This plan ended up falling through in part because of the opposition of the white colonisers who were already on the land. They were like, we call dibs on this place, actually, go colonise somewhere else. It's striking to a modern reader, reading in an age where the word colonisation has various negative connotations, just how open
I knew it was going to be good
co-host
co-host.
project was described in explicitly colonial terms. Influential Zionist leader and author Ze'ev Jabotinsky wrote an essay titled The Iron Wall in 1923, and allow me to read you some quotes from that. It is utterly impossible to obtain the voluntary consent of the Palestine Arabs for converting Palestine from an Arab country into a country with a Jewish majority. My readers have a general idea of the history of colonization in other countries. I suggest that they consider all the precedents with which they are acquainted and see whether there is one solitary instance of any colonization being carried on with the consent of the native population.
He was right.
There is no such precedent.
But not for the right reasons.
Every native population in the world resists colonists as long as it has the slightest hope of being able to rid itself of the danger of being colonized. That is what the Arabs in Palestine are doing, and what they will persist in doing as long as there remains a solitary spark of hope that they will be able to prevent the transformation of Palestine into the land of Israel.
And this is exactly what the representative from the Islamic Cooperation said yesterday at the ICJ, that not even remotely since 1947, yeah? Well, the Arabs in Palestine is a vile sentence to begin with. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. The Arabs in Palestine. Immediately dehumanizing them, not calling them Palestinians. Since 1947, and even probably before 1947, there has been no entertaining of the idea that there could even possibly be a state of Palestine alongside a state of Israel, you know? So when people talk about two-state solution, well, that's all good, but the two-state solution is kind of what's happening now. So that's what it is.
Zionist colonization must either stop or else proceed regardless of the native population, which means that it can proceed and develop only under the protection
I've got to
of a
pop
power
back.
that is independent.
Got to pop to the
of
toilet,
native
chat. See you in a
population,
sec.
behind an iron wall, which the native population cannot breach. All through Jabotinsky's writing, the Zionists are described as colonizers, and the Palestinian Arabs are the native population who are resisting colonization. Of course they're going to fight back to defend their land, Jabotinsky says, so we, the colonizers, need to be prepared to defend our colonization program. He was writing in part to more moderate Zionists who believed they could achieve the aims of Zionism without violence, through diplomatic means or economic means, and Jabotinsky is saying no, the people who are already there, the native population, are not going to go quietly, so we need to come prepared for a fight. The power behind Jabotinsky's Iron Wall, the one holding back the native Arab population, was the British Empire, who were supporting the Zionist project. So let's talk about how that came
I'm back!
about. So, briefly, in World War I, the British Empire was fighting the Ottoman Empire, and the Brits...
You made the John Stewart mistake again? What do you mean the John Stewart mistake? I can't relate to all these people who are talking about John Stewart. I just don't know what... I don't know why people are excited that he's like back. I'm like, whatever, man.
wrote to the Arabs saying, hey, here's an idea. If you rebel against the Ottoman Empire, we'll support the establishment of an independent unified Arab state. So rise up against the Ottomans and you'll get national independence, no foreign rule. How's that for a deal? The Arabs did just that and initiated the Arab Revolt, speeding along
Daily Show segment.
the Ottoman Empire. But, twist, the British had already
Popped up in your
signed a
YouTube
secret
recommendations
agreement
last night.
with France, detailing how they were going to split up and rule the territories of the Ottoman Empire after its fall. They lied to the Arabs, essentially. National independence? No. Foreign rule. So the French occupied Syria and Lebanon, and the British occupied Transjordan, Mesopotamia, and Palestine. These occupations were issued as League of Nations mandates. And the British occupation of Palestine was support.
Come back to watch it, I knew it would make me mad,
The British
yeah.
had issued something called the Balfour Declaration in 1917, pledging support for, quote, the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people.
Sykes-Picot is taught in our schools, yeah, good, it should be taught fucking everywhere.
The occupying British government should be responsible for putting into effect the Balfour Declaration's goal of creating that national home for the Jewish people. This national home is being created, quote...
One of your friends called you a lib because you don't like Jon Stewart. Called you a negative personality. Yeah, fuck him.
The stretch of land. A land without a people for a people without a land was a slogan associated with the plan to create this Jewish state in Palestine. You've got people who want a country, and look there, an empire.
What did I see the other day? I think it might have been Kwame Ture, someone else, talking about a land without a people for a land for people without a land. Like, that slogan was essentially something that meant that people were already dehumanizing Palestinians in that they don't exist. It was last night, right? It must have been last night. We were looking at this shit last night, and they were talking about the Australian settlers, and they said the same thing. A land without a people for a people without a land. And that gave license to do genocide to the Aboriginals there. You know. And just absolutely fucking insane. It just immediately dehumanizes anyone who is already there on that land. And you know, this is the thing about human existence. The thing about human existence is that if you discover that there is an island there, right, or a continent, in the case of Australia, it's a massive fucking continent, basically, isn't it? Oceania. And there are people already living there, and you want to live there, then what you do is you go, hey, could we live here with you? And then you do it cooperatively. You know what I mean? It's just this, like, desire to dominate and extract wealth that, like, fundamentally comes from these bizarre ideologies that were just invented, like white supremacy and all that shit. Fucking nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Same shit with Palestine. Like, you know, Palestinians were happy for you know, Jewish people to escape the Holocaust and come and settle with them. But they're obviously not happy with them stealing their land and killing their fucking people, doing ethnic cleansing. That's exactly, you know, what they didn't want. Again, because there were Jewish people living in Palestine already. Hey Prince, good to see you. How are you doing? Stuart has always been painfully lib, his whole brand on owning conservatives while saying things of little substance. Also, hi, I've been here the whole time, buzzing. Good to see you. Hope you're doing good.
Country, how handy. The problem, of course, with this phrase is the land without...
Wait, I just noticed that we're like £469. Did I get a dono while I was up? No, that's from before. I didn't even know. £469. Nice. Let's get a nice chat. Then when you trick indigenous people into actually getting that guarantee in writing, you just bin the agreement for 100 years. It's so simple. Right, exactly, yeah. Exactly. So fucking bad. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I know that, like, that settlers lied to indigenous people and said that kind of thing. But, you know, you could just do it without lying and do it that way. Just, like, live peacefully with one another. It's, like, literally not hard. It's actually literally not hard to live peacefully with one another. You know, people have been doing it for thousands of years, maybe tens of thousands of years before any kind of, like, ideology permeated our sort of collective sentience.
To people part, because there were hundreds of thousands of Palestinian Arabs living on the land, and they had done so for generations. There were Jewish people in Palestine, but before the British occupation of Palestine, Jewish people made up approximately 6%.
He's already there with it.
Of the population.
He's already there with it.
To create a Jewish state with a Jewish national identity in an area where the vast majority of people are not Jewish. It's not a huge stretch of the imagination to foresee some problems with implementing this plan.
Right.
In 1919, President Woodrow Wilson sent out the King Crane Commission to report on the various areas of the former Ottoman Empire, and they visited Palestine and gave opinions on the situation there, and they also gave their assessment of...
You know what? That's just what that's what this is, isn't it? I've just realized Near East, Middle East, Far East. The only reason the Middle East is called the Middle East is because of white supremacism. It's like calling China the Far East, isn't it? Southeast Asia is the more like correct term to use if you're talking about that area, and then Eastern Asia. And that's why I think, like, well, what's the correct term? What would be the accurate term? What do Arabs call the region that is known as the Middle East? You know? Yeah, east of where exactly? Well, the white places. That's what it implies, doesn't it? The Near East is like, you know, fucking Eastern Europe, and I guess like a bit of Eastern Europe, Balkans and Turkey. And then fucking Palestine, I don't know, Lebanon.
The Zionist.
The Levant.
And I'll quote from the 100 Years' War on Palestine here.
Yeah, there probably isn't a particular term for the whole region, right?
Zionist movement that it looked forward to a practically complete dispossession.
Yeah, the Levant is just like Palestine and a bit of Syria and Jordan and all that, yeah?
To a Jewish state. The commissioners reported
Western Asia.
That none of the military experts they consulted
Levant is from French,
the
yeah.
program could be carried out except by force of arms.
This is how insidious white supremacy is, chat. We don't even know what like the correct name for the regions are, because white people were just like, that's what that's called, you know?
And all considered that a force of not less than 50,000 soldiers would be required to execute this program. In the end, it took the British more than double that number of troops to prevail over the Palestinians in 1936 through 39. In a cover letter to Wilson, the commissioners presciently warned that if the American government decided to support the establishment of a Jewish state in Palestine, they're committing the American people to the use of force in that area, since only by force can a Jewish state in Palestine be established or maintained. The commission thereby accurately predicted the course of the subsequent century. So the Americans were wary about backing Zionism, correctly foreseeing that it would require a state of perpetual violence to enforce, but the British decided to back the Zionists for a few reasons. One was to attempt to enlist the support of Jewish people in the then still ongoing First World War. But for another reason, we can turn to Arthur James Balfour, the UK's Foreign Secretary, the person who declared the Balfour Declaration. So okay, since this Arthur James Balfour is supporting the creation of a national home for Jewish people, we can assume he is positively disposed towards Jewish people, right? Confusing here then is that Balfour also supported efforts to limit Jewish immigration into the UK.
Yeah.
In 1919, Balfour wrote of his support for Zionism on the grounds that he hoped it would, quote, mitigate the age-long miseries created for Western civilization by the presence in its midst of a body which it too long regarded as alien and even hostile, but which it was equally unable to expel or to absorb.
Sounds like a skill issue, dude. Not gonna lie, sounds like a skill issue.
Balfour is supporting Zionism from the perspective that Jewish people represent.
Swana is a modern decolonial term for the Middle East, used by some from that region. Buzz in. Thank you for that, Prince.
The societal problem. They are immigrant aliens living among us, never fully integrated into the countries they inhabit, and so if they had their own state, a place with open immigration to Jewish,
Southwest Asian and North African peoples. Yeah. Buzz in.
People, that'd be somewhere we could stick 'em. Seen from this perspective, Zionist Israel was something like a rug to sweep the so-called Jewish problem under. Now, Balfour also writes about what he believes would be the benefits for Jewish people, to be fair, escaping very
I guess the Swana region would work for that, yeah.
And so on. But underpinning the whole endeavour is the idea
or you
that
could just
Jewish
say
people
Swana.
are just too different to be integrated into the countries they inhabit. They're a problem that needs to be solved. This same justification is why today you'll see people all the way to the far right of the political spectrum, including open racists who hate Jewish people, professing support for Israel. Which might seem confusing at first glance, but it's because Israel to them represents a place for Jewish people to go away.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Anyway. The other half is that Israel acts as precedent for the sort of ethno-nationalist states they would like to create.
Yep.
So anyway, what did the Arab majority think about the Balkans?
It's a combination of like, we hate Arabs and we hate Jews. Well, when they say Arabs, they mean anyone, right? Anyone that's brown-skinned, literally. We just hate anyone who isn't white. So we hate Palestinians. So we hate Jews. So Jews, you got to go to Israel and kill Palestinians. You can all be safe there. Whatever. But, you know, at the end of the day, their idea for safety for Jewish people in Israel is probably like skin deep, right? It doesn't actually go beyond, well, you guys all go there. Right? It doesn't go beyond that. Because ideally they would want to fucking destroy Jewish people entirely. Excuse me. Israel is an anti-Semite from the late 40s wet dream. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's kind of what Shaun is implying here, you know? Well, I ain't going. Yeah, and you know what, Mr. Dank? That's based. That's fucking based. Don't do what Nazis tell you to do, actually. I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of that.
For declaration and British support for Zionism. Well, to make a long story short, they reacted as if they'd been told, hey, you know your land that you've lived on for generations, the land that we implied we'd back your national claim to if you fought the Ottomans? Well, about that, we're actually giving it to someone else, so they can have a country on it, where they'll have national rights, but you won't.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about that? And the Arabs responded, of course, as the King Crane commissioners predicted, by fighting for their land. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole history year by year until we get to the modern day, as there's simply too much to get into.
Yeah.
There's the 1936-39 Arab revolt against the British occupying government, which the British suppressed. The 1948 war as the British Empire withdrew from the area, leading to the establishment of Israel as a state and what is known as the Nakba, the catastrophe, which I will read a summary of actually. The central facts of the Nakba during the 1948 Palestine War are not disputed. Approximately 750,000 Palestinians, over 80% of the population in what would become Israel, were expelled or fled from their homes and became refugees in neighbouring states. Cities and hundreds of towns and villages were destroyed or depopulated. Thousands of Palestinians were killed in dozens of massacres.
Yeah.
And I feel this answers one of our questions today, by the way. Why does Israel's violence and rhetoric seem out of time? And the answer is because it is out of time.
Absolutely.
Israel was developed as a British colony and created in an act of colonial violence. Its foundational ideology is explicitly colonial. Israel as it currently exists is a colonial state in the modern day. When you see Zionists talking about Palestinians in a dehumanizing way and think, blimey, that sounds like something you'd read a racist colonizer say about the native population in a history book. It's because it is like that.
It is literally that.
What it is. Over the following decades, Israel gained a new superpower backer in the United States, who found themselves falling into the trap they'd warned themselves against back in 1919. There were a series of conflicts with Israel's national neighbours. Remember all those Palestinian refugees who were forced to flee to neighbouring states? Well, they didn't just disappear. In 1982, Israel invaded Lebanon to attack the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization. And after occupying Lebanon's capital, the Israeli Defense Forces oversaw the Sabra and Shatila massacre, where between 700 and 3,500 civilians were murdered, many of them Palestinian refugees in
I remember talking about this, and someone tried to make out that, oh, Sabra hummus isn't named after that. It's named after something else. And it's like, okay, what? What is it named after? Oh, just you know, the place. It's a coincidence, you know. No, man. You got a fucking Israeli company, I think the name is something like, I always get the name wrong. It's like Olek or Ofek or something like that. It's like a 4-letter word. And they make this hummus that they export to the Imperial Corps all over the place, right? And it's called Sabra, right? Do you think for a fucking second that they didn't look at the Sabra massacre, like with the way that the Israeli fucking Zionist ideology works? Do you think for a second that they didn't like look at that and go, yeah, I know exactly what that is referring to, and it's funny that we're going to be able to export that all over the world? It is literally a fucking fascist product, you know? And here's the thing, Sabra hummus. I've had Sabra hummus. I've had it. We used to get it in because, you know, my stepdad is a Zionist Jewish guy. And you get fucking Sabra hummus all the time. And it's like, yeah, it is better than like hummus that you get at Tesco. But if you actually make hummus with like a Palestinian or a Swana region recipe, it's miles better than Sabra anyway. So, you know, it's not even that big to be like getting Sabra hummus. It's not even that much of a, you know, of an improvement. Those expulsions and massacres were from cities and villages that wasn't part of the Jewish partition too. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. They pushed into Palestinian land. You know? I've had Sabra hummus. It's pretty good. British hummus sucks. Yeah, well, you know, make your own hummus. Not only is it very cheap and very affordable, but it's also miles better than Sabra anyway. You know what I mean? Don't buy Sabra. Participate in BDS.
A refugee camp. There is one other event I would like to mention here. The 1994 Cave of the Patriarchs massacre. So, on the 25th of February of that year, a far-right Zionist man from Brooklyn, as in Brooklyn, New York, United States, called Baruch Goldstein went into a mosque in the...
My man's wearing that fucking... This fucking Holocaust Judah star is like... That's like a... What the fuck is going on? Like, this whole fucking shit, like the weaponizing of the Holocaust to be like a disgusting Zionist fascist is so insane, man. I just don't even like, look, I understand the reclaiming of Holocaust imagery, which is why lesbians and gays support the miners had the pink triangle. Yeah, I'm a fan of the pink triangle. I like reclaiming it. It's whatever. But like, queers don't do that to be fascists and oppress other people. We don't do it for that reason. We do it for our liberation. And yes, you could argue that Zionists think that they're engaged in Jewish liberation, but they're not, are they? They're not engaged in Jewish liberation. They're engaged in the oppression of Palestinians. It's just so vile. And you see this a lot, chat, by the way. You see this a lot. You see a lot of the times where you'll get like a white person who's grown up in Germany. They're just German. They got no Jewish ancestors whatsoever in like recent time. Yeah? And they'll be like, you know what? I saw what was going down in Israel and I decided I'm Jewish now. So I got a fucking sponsor. I learned Hebrew. I converted. I did the, what do you call it? You read a thing from the Torah. You read from the Torah and shit. And, you know, you just go to Israel and then you can participate in ethnic cleansing. You get given a gun. You can just shoot brown people that you don't like. Because in the country that you're born, there is a culture of white supremacy. You know, it's not just Germany. It's places all over the world. White South Africans. People in Brooklyn. People from California. People from England, innit? You know what I mean? It's just such a joke. If you use canned chickpeas, you can make it super creamy by adding some of the aquafaba to your hummus along with the tahini and olive oil. Yeah, so I'll tell you what I use. I'll tell you the recipe I use for hummus. Dead quick. It's easy. Can of chickpeas, clove of garlic, quarter of a cup of tahini, quarter of a cup of water, juice of an entire lemon, salt, pepper, bit of olive oil to taste. You don't need to put pepper in there, but just whiz that all together. It's peng. It's so good. Easily the best hummus you'll ever try in your life. It'd be fucked to weaponize the pink triangle to justify racism within the queer community or some shit. Yeah, it really is. It really is. The Israeli UN ambassador and his entourage wore those yellow stars in the General Assembly as they were berating UNRWA and IN as a whole after having murdered over 120 of their people. It is enraging. Yeah, it is enraging. How tart is it? You mean with the lemon? Not tart. Not tart at all. Just has like a nice flavor to it. If those measurements are used correctly, so like, you know, like a can of chickpeas, quarter cup of water, quarter cup of tahini, clove of garlic, salt, pepper, olive oil to taste. It's yeah, it's perfect. That entire juice of a whole lemon. Don't overdo the salt garlic. Too much raw garlic is a bad time. Cooked garlic, more is better. Yeah, raw garlic, I think, is fine as long as you don't overdo it, like you say. You know?
Palestinian West Bank and opened fire on the Muslim worship.
It all depends what you want. All depends what you want, innit? You know what I mean?
With an assault rifle, killing 29 people, including children as young as 12. He was then beaten to death, which is the only good thing that happened there that day.
Shaun! Correct! Correct! Let's hear that again, chat. Let's hear that again. Yeah?
Into a mosque in the Palestinian West Bank and opened fire called from Brooklyn, as in Brooklyn, New York.
Peeps, what's going on?
Called Baruch Goldstein went into a mosque in the Palestinian.
Everybody go
West
follow
Bank
Beeps, they're
and
amazing.
opened fire on the
How you doing,
Muslim
buddy?
worshippers inside with an assault rifle, killing 29 people, including children as young as 12. He was then beaten to death, which is the only good thing that happened there that day. I mentioned the Cave of the Patriarchs massacre.
That's right.
Because Itamar Ben.
That's right. He's right, and he should say it.
Minister of National Security.
Oh, this one's important. This one's important, chat. Yeah, this guy that did this shit, murdered children, innocent men, women, and children in a mosque they were worshipping. Yeah? They were worshipping.
Because Itamar Ben-Gvir, Israel's current Minister of National Security, used to keep a portrait of Goldstein, the perpetrator of the massacre, in his living room. He removed it when he
Literally had... This is like having, right? If you're just struggling to pass this, this is like having Anders Breivik in your living room. It's like having a fucking poster of Anders Breivik in your living room. That's exactly what it's like. Anders Breivik, or the Christchurch shooter, or the Pulse nightclub shooter. It's on that level. It's on that level of like psycho shit, psycho fascist fucking shit.
He entered politics.
He's the Minister of National Security. The Minister of National Security. There is no way that you can sit there logically with any kind of knowledge of politics in Israel and say, oh, this is a measured response. What they're doing in Gaza right now is a measured response. It's not even remotely. It's completely fucking fascist and violent. Unnecessary. Did not need the reminder. New Zealand government is reversing our bare minimum assault weapons ban enacted after Christchurch. Cringe. That's not great. That is not great.
Which was only 4 years ago. I'm not going to list off the countless other massacres, assassinations, invasions, displacements, and so on that Israel has carried out in order to defend its colonial project. We really would be here all day if I did that. And the Zionist response to every one of those crimes would be to say, well, we only did that because the Palestinians did this to us. To which the Palestinians could say, well, we only did that because you did this to us, and so on and so forth. This is the loop of violence and counter-violence that certain people would like to pretend is the whole history. But no, the violence and counter-violence have a source, which is the ethnic cleansing of Palestine. That ethnic cleansing is rooted in an ideology of inequality, the ideology behind Zionism and colonialism, the idea that different groups of people should be subject to different rights, and should be treated as if they are inherently different. When trying to solve the Israel-Palestine conflict, far too much focus is put on what the Palestinians would have to accept, whereas it's
Right.
often taken for granted that Israel will continue to be run by colonial Zionist supremacists. And no peaceful solution is ever going to work if that's the case.
Not even
Colonial
remotely.
Zionists aren't going to accept half of the land they want to colonize being given to the Palestinians as some sort of two-state solution.
Here's the fact of the matter. Israeli society is so clapped with fascism, absolutely fucking riddled with fascism. There is simply not one Israeli person who could be in government to try and negotiate some kind of two-state solution or liberation for Palestinian people within any kind of united state for both of them. It simply does not exist. There are Palestinians who could be in government who would be ready to do some kind of a negotiation with that in mind. But there are simply no Israelis. They just don't exist. Maybe there's one or two of them, right? A very small, but the fact of the matter remains that there are so many Israeli fascist settlers now who are in Palestine that you would have to get rid of them all. You would simply have to get rid of them all. And that's the end of it. Because they will become radical. They're radicalized. They're not even become radicalized. They would simply resist. They would simply resist any kind of attempt to stop Israel from existing in its current form. Right? It just would not happen. It is over. The only thing that can happen is Israel has to withdraw. Israel has to withdraw. The settlers have to withdraw. That's the end of it. That's the fucking end of it. You know what I mean? Put them in re-education camps. Put them in fucking gulags. I don't care. Yeah? I simply don't care. Prison abolition, but not for fascist Israelis. It just doesn't happen. Yet it needs to be abolished in the same way that Rhodesia was abolished. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Itmar Ben-Gvir said this, our right to life is more important than the Palestinians' right to freedom of movement. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It is fucked up. It's completely fucked up.
They don't want the Palestinians to have official statehood, full membership in the UN and things like that, because it would make them much harder to ethnically cleanse, which is the goal. Nor are they going to accept a single-state solution, a secular Israel with equal rights for all, perhaps the right of return
they won't
for
accept
Palestinians with reparations paid and all that.
No,
because if millions
simply
of
won't.
Palestinians get equal rights and can vote, that's the end of Zionism. Right
Yep.
there. The Zionists currently...
You have to understand if you're not quite abreast of this, you have to understand that is why they are doing ethnic cleansing. That is why they are doing apartheid, because if they give the Palestinians the right to self-determination and democracy, Zionism would be over. It is literally only an ideology that can exist with the oppression of Palestinians. It's only a system that can exist with the colonialist genocide that is happening. He's spot on.
Of Israel do not want either of these solutions. What we have right now is a single state, an apartheid state. Israel functionally controls the whole territory. The Palestinians have very limited official power. Israel has them blockaded in Gaza. They can't move freely. They don't control their own trade or borders or airspace. If they march peacefully for their rights, as they did weekly in 2018-19, the IDF shoots them in the thousands. There's a point to be made about the inevitability of violent resistance in these sorts of situations. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable, so said JFK.
He did.
If you deny a people their rights and you strike down all non-violent methods for them to attain those rights, what is left are the violent methods.
Yep.
Now, statements about the inevitability of the violence that arises in these situations are often misconstrued as support for the violence itself. But that couldn't be further from the truth. If someone douses themselves in gasoline and then strikes a match, I can tell you what's going to happen, but that doesn't mean I...
Damn, dude, that's fucking poorly timed. That is fucking poorly timed, dog. He... No fucking way, dude. That's fucking crazy, man.
I think it's good. I think it's a tragedy, actually. But pointing out that you go on fire if you take those actions is not a celebration of you going on fire.
Right.
It's a warning against taking those actions. Enforcing an apartheid state takes violence, necessarily, and so invites violent reaction, necessarily. Of course, Zionists would say that attacks like those perpetrated by Hamas on October 7th of last year necessarily invite violent reaction themselves, but this is the old pretending history is just a cycle of violence and counter-violence dodge again. Here's
the thing. The way you've got to imagine it is that Israel has like beaten and beaten and beat. If you turn this into like two people, yeah. So Israel has beaten and beaten and beaten and beaten and beaten and beaten and beaten Palestine for decades and decades, right? A century, innit? Do you know what I mean? A fucking century of that shit. And hey, Stranded on Earth, he mentioned regretting the bad time in his live stream the other day. Yeah, no, I imagine. I don't think. We're not about to cancel him. You know what I mean? No, I don't think he obviously intentionally did that at all. But where was I with that thought? Yeah, he you know, for a century, just beating the shit out of Palestine, you know, locking them in the fucking basement, hypothetical, you know, what do you call it? Like a hypothetical basement, and then not looking the other way while another person gets them a gun, and then they come out the basement, they shoot Israel in the leg, and they're like, damn, dude, more beatings, bang, bang, bang. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. That's absolutely what it is. You have to look at it in those simplistic terms because it is simple. It absolutely is simple.
It's not. The violence has a root, and it's the violence Israel is using to enforce an apartheid state. Imagine Bill punches Tom because Tom punched Bill.
He's doing exactly what I just did.
Because Bill punched Tom, and so on and so forth. A cycle of violence. If you weren't around to see the start of this chain of violence, it's impossible to decipher who's the instigator and so who is at fault.
Yep.
This is what some people would like you to think the Israel-Palestine conflict is. But now imagine that same cycle of violence, only Tom broke into Bill's house and chained him to a radiator first. And then Bill hits Tom, who hits Bill, who hits Tom. And
it's literally the same as what I just said.
Because even though it's the same cycle of violence, only one party has the power to end it non-violently. And Israel holds that power with regards to the situation in Gaza. Also the United States as Israel's principal.
This is why I say every single time, if you want to know who is the oppressor and who is the oppressed in any given situation, you just need two simple analytical frameworks to use. And that is material analysis and power dynamics. Understanding power dynamics and understanding material analysis. Material analysis, who has the stuff? And if the answer isn't everybody, then there is an imbalance in the power. Yeah. And then you look at the power dynamics. Okay, there's an imbalance in the power. Who has the power? It's that group. All right. Okay. Gotcha. It's very simple. It's very, very simple.
Backer has power with regards to that situation via the enormous leverage it holds over Israel. Or could hold.
Bill is 10 times the size of Tom and a heavyweight boxer, yeah.
The Palestinians in Gaza could not tomorrow decide to peacefully bring an end to the apartheid state they live in. But the Zionists in Israel could, and that's the difference. It's not very likely, but they could. They have the majority of the power, and so they bear a majority of the responsibility. Hamas's attack on October 7th was in its scale and deadliness an enormous embarrassment for Israel's government and military. It made the IDF look utterly incompetent.
Double take there, you know, had me in the first half, not gonna lie. Thought it was gonna be a little bit of but not at all. Yeah, I agree. It made the IDF look utterly incompetent. But this is the thing. It's because it's true. It's true. They're only used to shooting innocent people who are unarmed, literally civilians. They're not used to any kind of military operation, like fighting against another military force. They're not used to it. They're only used to being actual Nazi SS prison guards. That's the only kind of fighting, quote unquote, that they're good at. You know? However, we as Americans may personally feel about Israel, one thing I've always thought is that none of us should tolerate is the level of influence they have over our government through AIPAC. That's the thing. But if you speak to liberals about that, what they'll say is that you're being anti-Semitic because you're implying that Jews are controlling the government, right? You have to break through that shit and be like, no. Listen, it's a cycle. The US government gives billions of dollars in aid to Israel every year. They use some of that aid to send representatives to do the AIPAC conference and influence politicians with lobbying groups. It's a big circle. That's what it is. That's what people are talking about. And I think you're correct. I think you're absolutely correct. Absolutely everybody, if you are being materially competent and understanding, if you're being materially logical about what's going on, there should not be a lobbying group that has the ability to influence your government through bribes. Because that's essentially what AIPAC is. The only lobbying group that should be able to influence the government is one that is based in people power. It's literally foreign interference. You know, people want to talk, liberals love to talk about Russian interference in elections. Well, how about Israeli interference in elections? Yes, absolutely, Bill. That's literally it. Wouldn't tolerate any other country having that level of influence at all.
And exposed Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, as a reckless, arrogant fraud, as if that needed any more doing. Netanyahu's strategy was, as he himself has said, to bolster Hamas to keep the Palestinians in Gaza divided from the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, with Hamas's militarism and frequent rocket attacks.
Okay, chat, I gotta defrost the boys' dinner.
Peace talks. Netanyahu claimed an ability to control the height of the flames in Gaza, casting himself as a master manipulator who could manage Hamas and prevent them from doing any real damage. And then, of course, on October 7th, his ability to control the situation was exposed as an illusion. The enormous destruction in Gaza we've seen in the last few months is in part a desperate attempt to re-establish legitimacy and project an appearance of strength. It has nothing really to do with stopping Hamas or rescuing hostages. The safest thing for the hostages would obviously be to negotiate a ceasefire. And the widespread bombing and collective punishment of Palestinian civilians is not doing anything at all to make those civilians want to side with Israel over Hamas. The IDF's strategy of indiscriminate bombing and the effects they profess to believe the bombing campaign will have, like claiming it will ramp up civilian pressure on Hamas, are another element of this situation which seems out of the history books, from a time before we all learned that that doesn't work. My country has a proud national belief in how British civilians reacted during the Blitz, the German bombing campaign against the UK in the Second World War. In that campaign, tens of thousands of civilians were killed in bombing raids which came daily. Millions of houses were damaged or destroyed. Some images of London from the time look like Gaza today, but the morale of the British civilians did not break. They did not turn on their government or demand a surrender. And many other countries have similar beliefs about the resilience of their own civilians when their country is under attack. And that we expect the Palestinians to act differently is a manifestation of the dehumanizing way in which Palestinians are often considered. They're not expected to act the same way we do, as if when they're bombed they'll just panic and scatter like animals who heard a loud noise. And this dehumanizing attitude manifests in another way. First, even if we imagine the colonial Zionist plan to annex all current Palestinian-held territory somehow succeeded, countries bordering Israel will then be filled with millions more displaced Palestinian refugees, who would be rightfully and justifiably pissed off about being kicked.
The 51st state of the US is Israel, yeah, true. It is, it's the US's military base in Swana. AIPAC is bankrolling Rashida Tlaib's primary challenger. Should she win that primary, they'll do the same for her Republican challenger. Yeah. Absolutely. It's disgusting. Fuck Churchill, incidentally. Yeah, I don't know what he said about Churchill, but yeah, fuck him. Listen, chat. Listen, it's we got maybe an hour left of the stream. Maybe an hour left of the stream. We're so close to hitting today's target. Yeah, which is £50. I'm trying to get £50 a day until the end of the month. And we're not on a leap year. So the end of the month. Oh no, we are on a leap year. Oh, fucking hell, we are on a leap year. The end of the month is Thursday. So, please consider donating, consider subbing off Twitch. This is my full-time job. Yeah? Oh shit, already with Prince with the...
Probably the last stream I'll be able to catch this month. So here's a parting gift, I guess.
Prince, thank you so much for the fucking 1312. Let's see that number in the chat. Thank you so much for subbing off Twitch. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. Really appreciate that. Yeah? Prince knows what's up. It's the last stream of the month that he's going to be able to get to. So get your donos in. If you're going to miss tomorrow, if you're going to miss Thursday, get those donos in. Because then you get the thank from me, don't you? You get me going, thank you very much, and that makes you feel good. It's like dopamine. And also what it means is that I can eat and pay rent. Yes, this is my full-time job. I do it every day. Please consider if you've laughed, if you've had fun, if you've learned something, if you want to see me succeed, if you want to fucking help an activist, because I'm literally a fucking activist. All these kinds of things. Please consider subbing off Twitch. And you can do that via the link in the chat, as Prince has just done. Just go to the Streamlabs tip link. Why do I ask you to sub off Twitch? Well, Twitch is a terrible platform. It bans people for talking about Palestine. It's got a culture of bigotry, misogyny, racism, queerphobia at the heart of its organization. I would ask you to take money away from that organization. I've been doing this consistently for about 2 or 3 years now. And I want to make Twitch understand that they're not allowed, they can't do this. One day I want to grow as a streamer to be, getting a bunch of fucking viewers in, and I hope that fucking staff come in the stream and they see that I'm taking money away from their platform whilst being on it. That's what I want. So we can leverage some kind of influence on them to actually make their platform a better place for marginalized people. Aside from that, if you can't support the stream, please consider retweeting the Go Live tweet and the Go Live Blue Sky Skeet. There it is. If you're not on Blue Sky, I'd recommend it. It's pretty good. Pretty fucking good. Means that more people will see the stream, more people potentially who are more financially capable of supporting the stream. So please consider that. Got a few new follows, I think, on Blue Sky there. Thanks if you followed me today. Really appreciate that. Thank you. All right, chat. Let's crack on with the video. Thank you so much, Prince, for the 1312. That basically means that we've got like another £5 today to hit the goal of what I want. But listen, if we get to £500 today, I'm going to be fucking really happy with that. And what's that going to be? Like, what, £20? It's about £20. So let's say like 4 people donating £5. I know some of you out there got £5 in your back pocket for the streamer. I know you do. Yeah?
Kicked out of their homes, and the fight
You can do it,
will
chat.
continue.
I believe in you.
The Palestinian diaspora will not dissipate any more than a Jewish one would. This is one of the fundamental contradictions of
Going over the British
Zionism,
Blitz mentality and
that
hypocrisy,
Zionists
yes.
hold some historic or
Absolutely.
religious right to the land based on who was there thousands of years ago. But the Palestinian population we kick out today will just go and become Lebanese or Egyptian or whatever and completely forget their heritage. This only makes sense if you believe the Palestinians are some different manner of creature to you, some lower order of humans who do not act in the same way. But this isn't the case, of course. And so long as Israel is run by colonial Zionists who view Palestinians in this dehumanizing way, the fate of Israel will be eternal conflict with its neighbors. Some extremist Zionists would be quite happy about, it should be pointed out. There is a movement within Zionism that argues Israel needs to expand its borders.
Oh, what's that? Is that the sound of mule being vindicated? Sound of mule being vindicated in a Shaun video? What's that? People who were doubting that Israel wants to expand its territory now finding out actually, no, they are. Thank you. Yeah, fucking thank you. I was right, wasn't I?
Early last year, Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich gave a speech behind a podium featuring a map of a Greater Israel, which included not
I didn't get shit for that. There were just some people in this chat who wanted to deny that I was correct about this. Not mentioning any names. Adam! Look, I'm not saying that I told you so, but I told you so. Here you go. Here's someone who has got more time than me with my ADHD scatterbrain during a live stream when I don't have the fucking mental capacity to get sources and shit like that for you. Presenting the sources that I wanted to present to you. So let's go ahead and listen. This is Schmotrick in front of the Greater Israel map. If you could see there, as I correctly pointed out, it goes into Syria, into Lebanon, into Saudi Arabia, and into Egypt. And a little bit of Sudan as well, I think.
Just the current Palestinian territories, but also parts of Jordan, Syria, and Saudi Arabia. Reading about the history of Zionism,
Jordan
there's
as
a
well,
sense
yeah.
that it simply arrived too late.
Hey Liz, what's up?
That it
Good to
missed
see you.
The historical window for what it's trying to
Yeah,
do.
it's not some far left conspiracy theory, you know. And Smotrich, it just isn't the only guy who has done this. You know what I mean? He's not the only guy who's done this. It's fucking loads of them. They're always talking about this shit. Always. Hi, buddy. What's going on? I got a small on the. Don't you dare go behind that fucking. Don't you dare go behind that. No. Thank you
There's
very
a good
much.
quote from the 100
There's a
Years
small on the desk. He's now off the desk.
War on Palestine, where Khalidi says Zionists have been trying to do the impossible to impose a colonial reality on Palestine in a post-colonial age. In the decades after Israel was founded in 1948, many other colonial projects folded up. Israel was closely allied militarily and economically with apartheid South Africa, an obvious ideological sibling of colonial Zionism, being a socially stratified settler state. But that system came to an official end in the 90s after international pressure was applied for reasons that could apply equally to Israel today.
They took the Golan Heights because of water issues in Palestine. The water issues didn't exist pre-occupation. Literal water war in Golan Heights.
Go on a tangent now and talk for a while about one of.
Listen, we've had enough. We've had enough donos today. We've not had enough donos today, but we have had enough for the cat cam. So you know, everyone's excited about that, aren't they? That's right. What's that, gang? We're bringing him on. We're bringing him on. There he is. Look at that. There he is. Yes, buddy. You're on TV. That's right, you're on TV. Say hi to everyone. There he is. Can't see his face properly, but there you go. Little meower. Little meower, innit? Anyway, let's crack on.
One of the reasons that this colonial reality is harder to implement
Mr. Small,
today than the 1800s, say. And it has to do with the popular perception of.
He's being very well behaved.
So, if you wanted to find out the truth of what was happening on the ground in any given conflict,
I love you, baby boy.
Written and oral accounts were
I love
all
you,
you
baby
had
boy.
to go on for a very long time. For an example here, I remember, as I'm sure a lot of people in the UK will,
The lad,
being
isn't he?
taught Wilfred Owen's poetry.
Tom
at school.
emotes when?
Wilfred Owen
True.
was a poet and soldier who fought for the British in the First World War.
You know what? I should be getting some new Francophasy and Better Twitch TV emotes very soon, because that's going to be part of like the overhaul of the stream, including new alerts and all these like extra shit, you know, stuff like this.
Wow.
All, you know, all that shit. So hopefully, yeah, get some Tom emotes. Got some pretty funny pictures of him, so definitely. Yeah. Hey, Demon Gone Good, how you doing? Good morning, Lo. How you doing? Good portion of the money Joe keeps sending Israel is to prop up their broken economy, which under normal conditions would have forced the government to shut down a long time ago, but not on Biden's watch. Yes, this is true. This is true. Again, you know, Kwame Ture said it in the 70s/80s. If you... Whoa! Anonymous with the £5. Thank you so much for subbing off Twitch. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. I just need 3 more £5 donos, chat. 3 more. And then we're on target for the week. And we're on target for the end of the month. And that means that educational game stream is going to be fucking... It's going to be happening. Yeah? So, thank you so much to all the donos today. To all the donators. 3 more £5 donos. That's all I need, chat. £15, either 1 £15 dono, 2 £10 donos, or 2 £7 donos, or 3 £5 donos. Easily doable. It's going to happen, chat. I believe it.
And I remember particularly
think of the boy.
A poem of his titled Dulce et Decorum Est. This poem was written as a response to propagandistic pro-war poetry, particularly the works of Jesse Pope, a writer whose poems were published in the Daily Mail to encourage enlistment in the armed forces. Pope's poems portray war as just a big fun game, an opportunity to win personal and national glory, a way to show your manly grit, earn the Empire's thanks and all that. It was jingoistic rubbish, basically. Owen's Dulce et Decorum Est paints a scene in which a group of exhausted soldiers are attacked with chlorine gas artillery shells. One soldier cannot put on his gas mask in time and dies horrifically, guttering, choking, drowning. Images of the dying man haunt the writer's dreams. We see his body flung on the back of a wagon, his hanging face vomiting blood at every jolt. The imagery is terrifying and disgusting, and the poem ends by chiding those who encourage the youth to rush off to war to earn glory for themselves. Death in war is not sweet or glorious, the poem says. It's violent and disturbing and horrible. And certainly...
We did this poem in English. Yeah. And it definitely had the effect on me in secondary school of just like, yeah, you know, war is not something to be excited about or celebrating. It's horrific, actually. Layla says, I grew up in an area next to a Golan refugee camp, and the way elders speak about Golan is fucking sad, missing their apples and the amazing weather, the olive trees. It's a wonderful province. Yeah, I've seen pictures of it. You know, like, this is what people think, like, because of the Israeli propaganda. They think, why does anyone care about the land of Palestine? All Israelis are asking for is a desert. And it's like, no, it is not a desert. It is simply not a desert. It's like a beautiful place. And even deserts are, like, cool and good, actually. You know? So, to sort of disparage it in that way is so fucking shit. Coho says, how's the boys shenanigizing today? As he calmed down or still over the shop? No, he's so full of energy. It's this raw food, man. It's this raw food. They changed the name of a fucking desert, right? Exactly right. If it's just such a fucking desert, why do you need to change the name of it? It's so stupid. Oh no, yeah, Al Najab, yeah, the Negev desert, yeah. What they call the Negev desert is the Al Najab desert, yeah.
Nothing to celebrate. Today, of course, hardly anyone cares about the jingoistic pro-war poetry, whereas the experiences of anti-war poets are taught in schools and have come to define the popular perception of what the war was like for those actually experiencing it. As for why that is, I'd say a large part of it is that the accounts from sources actually involved in the conflict were more truthful. Now, something happened in the 1960s which made the imagery of war even more accessible to the average person.
That's absolutely right, Crystal.
Of television.
Absolutely right, Ori.
American households, for instance, came to own a television set, and consequently the Vietnam War, which the US was involved in at the time, became the first televised war. Now, one result of this is that a media that had previously relied on government press releases and reports could now bypass official channels and just show people footage of what was actually happening. Citizens could now, from inside their own homes, see images and videos that demonstrated the brutality of war, bombings, executions, atrocities, and so on. This access to the imagery of the horror and violence of war, along with what was often a large disparity between what they were seeing and what their government officials were telling them was going on, correlates with a strong shift in public opinion away from support for the war.
Hell
It
yeah.
is harder to drum up support for a war when people can see the violent results of that war.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing something similar.
And that's why, oh yeah, he's saying it, he's seeing it straight away leading into this, you know, that's why so many people are being like, yo, actually not like 100% sure about Israel anymore, man. You know what I mean? Because everybody's seeing this shit. And that's why the first thing that they do now, yeah, the first thing that the IOF do when they detain Palestinians in Gaza, right, the first thing that they do is they take their phones off them. That's the first thing that they do. Right? Because they know that it's not serving the war. Just a quick little alert. Tom is making biscuits, by the way. He's making biscuits, just in case anyone is unaware.
Happening today. Just as official government sources were undercut by the more immediate...
Oh, what's this? Palestine, abounding in cultivated and flourishing regions, has great cities which rival each other in their excellence, viz. Caesarea, Eleutheropolis, Neapolis, Ashkelon, and Gaza. The watermelons of Jaffa are preferred before the very fine watermelons of Brulas. Gaza produces dates like Mecca and pomegranates like Algiers. From 1843, though I don't like that they didn't use the native Arabic names for that example. Right, yeah.
And truthful news media.
A beautiful land.
Today, the government and news media are being undercut by something even more immediate and truthful: the people themselves. Over time, more of the world has access to...
Tattooing in the Middle East came from the desert, the Bedouin? Yeah, that's right.
More of the world's population
Hey,
now
Astro,
access
what's
to
up?
smartphones with cameras that can record and
Good to see you.
upload footage from anywhere. And this is how a lot of people, particularly young people, are finding out about what's going on in the world. The older media structures are still around, of course, but there's very much a generational divide in where people are getting their news from. A young person is increasingly more likely to be informed about something going on in the world by posts on social media sites than by reading a newspaper or watching TV news. There are Palestinians who run social media accounts with hundreds of thousands to millions of followers. Here's a Palestinian filmmaker with
Big up
4 million
Bissan.
Instagram followers who posts updates from within Gaza, for instance. I spent a lot of time thinking about this one post from the account of an artist on Twitter, which they posted after being injured in an Israeli attack and losing an eye and the use of their hand. Being able to hear the voices of those hurt by the violence in such an immediate way is a new thing. Also, there's I want to say, social element to the way that information is being shared and received online that I think is worth considering. People typically aren't scrolling.
Fucking edit there, that was funny. Just in case you missed that. Shaun just like doing some MS Paint editing out here.
Also, there's I want to say, social element to the way that information is being shared and received online that I think is worth considering. People...
My favorite falafel place in Damascus was called Bisan. Well, Palestinians are normally called after places where their parents are from, that they're unable to return to, right? So I think Bisan is like an altered spelling of a place in Palestine, I think. And that would also be the case for Bisan, the falafel place. You know, I was in Mossad the other day, and it's so funny, you don't like notice this stuff until something like this is going on. I mean, I'm always noticing like the Jafra takeaway in Russia, and whenever I go through it, because it's very big, it's got like black and yellow letters, it's very bold, and it's like, yeah, you know, that's why it sticks in your head, because it's like, yeah, that's a place in Palestine that was colonized and genocided and ethnically cleansed. And you know, I was through Mossad the other day, going to visit a member, and there it was, Gaza Halal Meats, just like a butcher that's called Gaza Halal Meats, you know, and it's obviously either run by Palestinians or it is in sort of solidarity with people in Gaza. I wonder if Twitter wasn't bought by Dickhead, would they have censored the proof of genocide more? Probably, just a thought. Fuck Elon. It was owned by Saudi Arabians earlier. And I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. Because at the end of the day, I wasn't on Twitter when I saw a lot of the stuff that I was seeing on social media about Gaza this time around. I saw stuff on Instagram. I saw stuff on TikTok. So I really don't think that like Twitter's got that much power. I think that the power of Twitter in spreading information is a little overstated, and that's because Twitter is sort of like one of these older institutions of social media. You know, like Instagram wasn't really around until like I think 2011, and then Twitter was 2006 or something like that. Facebook was earlier, 2003 or something. These are like these older institutionalized ones, and yeah, and obviously you got TikTok. That's the most recent one. My mother's last name is Egyptian because her family did trade in Egypt. Yep. Saw war crimes on Twitter. That's my thinking. I saw shit that will haunt me on Twitter. Oh yeah, well, I saw that same stuff on Instagram and TikTok. So, and of course on Blue Sky as well. Blue Sky is a pretty fucking new one too. Yeah. So.
People typically aren't scrolling completely random social media feeds, are they? They're following people who they like and want to hear from. It's not just that they're getting news from that place, they're getting news from the people they like and trust at that place. Because of the internet, people increasingly have a connection to places and peoples they otherwise wouldn't. I follow people on Twitter, for instance, who have been killed in this current conflict. They aren't just another number counted among the dead to me. They're someone whose words I've read and voices I've heard. They are someone to me. There's more of a personal connection than if you just heard about a random death on the news. One of the people
they definitely censor stuff. But it's more done in the ways of like shadow banning and just like suppression of views in the algorithm, which is kind of similar to what happens on Twitter with that stuff anyway. And they really did a bit of a shit job of doing that on TikTok specifically for the first month or so. They didn't really realize how much pro-Palestinian voices were taking off on TikTok, and TikTok were just like, maybe we should have a meeting about this. And then like a month after, people started realizing that they were getting shadow banned. People started realizing that there wasn't the same amount of views, the same amount of likes and shit like that. My video, I did like a big video and it popped off. Let me show it you. Hang on. It didn't even contain anything like horrific on it. Let me just get TikTok up. Rapid. I'll never budge and download TikTok. Yeah, that's up to you, yo. Do what's good. Do whatever you want. Hold up. Where was my one that popped off? Right, here we go.
They take you on birthright, they take you to the Holocaust Museum, and I specifically remember walking through the Holocaust Museum.
5,000 likes, 75,000 views.
And it was really painful and emotional. There's a room with all of these candles and lights, and they say all the names of children killed during the Holocaust. And you exit that room, and everyone.
This is just from my stream,
And they had us look over at Jerusalem. It's sort of hanging above the city. And they say, because of what you just heard, this is why you have to fight and defend Israel.
Like, insane. That is like legitimately like here's the thing. Husker was talking about this, like the birthright journey to Israel, innit? Right? So every Jewish person has the opportunity to do this. So much controversy in US politics about it being a Chinese company. Yep. Fucking torture you. And You go to Israel. Oscar's famous, it's true. It's like horrible stuff. It's like this disgusting, horrible, real, legitimate thing that happened to Jewish people just because they were Jewish, just because Hitler was a piece of fucking shit. Right. I'm literally, like, listen to what's happening, chat. I'm literally reaffirming the Holocaust. I'm literally reaffirming the Holocaust in it. Yeah? That's what's going on here, right? And then they take you out and they say, this is why you got to kill Palestinians. And I'm talking about the actual experience of somebody else, an actual Moroccan Jew, yeah, talking about this shit. And they fucking suppressed this shit. Did you see that unhinged interview with the Singaporean owner of TikTok? I did, yeah. Yeah, it was fucking racist as fuck, innit? It was fucking absolutely racist as fuck. Advantaged Mountain... Hello and welcome to the stream. Why did you come into the chat and the first thing that you posted was www.politicalcompass.org? Why did you do that, my friend? New chat member. Explain yourself immediately.
I remember going through that experience and feeling really angry and really critical and feeling like they just emotionally manipulated us.
Yep.
More and more young American Jews are becoming...
So, you know, that's you can check out the rest of the video if you want. There you go. It's in the chat. It's in both chats. If you want to check that out, it would help me out actually if you you know, liked and commented and all that shit on TikTok. But you know, that got fucking banned. That just got like community guidelines violation, and so I re-uploaded it, and hence no community guidelines violation. So there was absolutely nothing wrong with that video actually, according to TikTok's rules itself. And all that had happened was a bunch of Zionists found it and just mass reported it. That's all that happened. That's literally all that happened. So, yeah, that's that about social media and suppression and all that stuff. Yeah.
Fat Al-Ariya, a Palestinian professor, poet, and writer. His final poem, If I Must Die, calls on the reader to use his death to bring hope to the children of Gaza.
Happened to some Twitch accounts too. Hey, Carpe.
Of the fact that he was indeed
That's correct.
Murdered shortly.
Everybody go follow Carpe
The
Pegs.
widespread sharing and translating of If I Must Die has been
it wasn't just Zionists. It was fucking DGGers, wasn't it? Debate orbiters. It's almost like every platform lies about actually looking into reports and they can just rely on mass reports, which can be abused. That's absolutely it. Had to mute today because of a lot of work, but one thing Eli Valley covers in his Diaspora Boy is that Yad Vashem, the Israeli Holocaust Museum, they use the exact same clay figures with sunken faces and emotionless expressions that they use in a separate museum where the diaspora is depicted. They've since stopped, but they did for decades. That is fucking wild. Wild. Members are a different streamers community. That's exactly what it is. Carpe. Hey, Mort, how you doing? Good afternoon.
very touching to see. In relation to this, I have to mention an article in Tablet magazine written by a
the
chap
boy's
called
gone.
Maxim D. Schreier, which discusses Al-Ariya and his poetry. This article
He's sat
is
by
a
the door,
hastily
waiting
put
for his
together
dinner.
and poorly constructed hack job, rushed out after Al-Ariya's murder in a sad attempt to push back against the surge of interest in his writing brought about by said murder. Al-Ariya's work, tenderly keening at its best,
Yeah, that's right,
banal and
B-Rat.
formulaic at its average, relies on strained cultural and historical transpositions, says Schreier.
Wow, it's a
Schreier also
zero-sum
complains
game,
that
yeah.
Al-Ariya portrays Israel as a new Nazi state, and Gazans as that state's victims, which I'm not really sure we can criticize him for, given that Israel assassinated him. But anyway, this Maxim D. Schreier certainly seems to know a lot about poetry. So how about we read some of Schreier's poetry? Surely it's not going to be banal and formulaic. Jewish detractors of Israel. Israel's Jewish detractors. Do you experience remorse? How does it feel to be traitors? Loathe the price of your voice. Jewish self-hatred runs rampant.
This
when
is great.
Israel's under attack. Israel emerges triumphant, breaking her enemies' back.
Breaking her enemies back, literally talking about genociding an entire populace.
Jewish detractors, can Israel manage without your brain cells? Yes, undeniably.
This is so bad. This is so unbelievably bad.
Easily. You, who so openly, eagerly side with the enemies of Israel, how can you live with yourselves?
How often is Israel mentioned in this poem? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 6 times. Just absolutely rotted with nationalism, hyper-nationalism, hyper-fucking supremacy. Roses are red, violets are blue, Zionists are stinky, Gaza, we love you. Yeah, that's right.
Well, presume
Right-wingers just can't produce good art. They simply can't. They simply can't. So bad. Reminds me of anti-resistance poetry published in Israeli news that Cheryl Weichel shared on Blue Sky. Yeah.
probably pretty easily, given that the poem seems to think their betrayal is functionally meaningless.
What's a
since Israel
Vogon?
will apparently succeed regardless of what they do, which gives rise to the question
Vogons are described as one of the most unpleasant races in the galaxy. Oh, it's a Doctor Who thing? No, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Okay. Yeah. Fascism collapses all art to nothingness. Yeah, well, I think like the best rhyme about Khaza is Khaza, Khaza, don't you cry, we will never let you die, which is the one that lots of like Arabic people use at protests, you know? Their form of torture is reading really bad poems at people. Right, okay, I'm with you. That makes sense. That makes sense now. Yeah.
Question, what is the poet complaining about exactly? This poem is poorly written, jingoistic shite, comparable to the sorts of poetry Wilfred Owen was writing in response to. And in the future, when school children learn about what happened in Gaza, they will be reading Palestinian poetry.
Yes,
and
correct.
The fate of this poem will be for it to be a joke
in
this video. Also, if you ever feel like you have imposter syndrome, Maxim D. Schreier has a Guggenheim Fellowship. So, enjoy knowing that. Anyway, back to social media. So, just as the victims of the oppression have social media accounts they can post to, the perpetrators of the oppression have social media accounts they can post to. I have seen in the past few months videos shot by IDF soldiers themselves of them destroying humanitarian aid, stealing from Palestinian homes, needlessly destroying the interior of Palestinian businesses, singing genocidal songs about how there are no uninvolved civilians in Gaza, and so on. There's a very jarring effect that happens when the older propaganda structures try to process all of this immediately available information. And I can summarize it here by showing you one Twitter interaction. So, in response to a tweet saying, "Breaking, United..."
Rob Rousseau mentioned! Let's fucking go. Friend of the show, Rob Rousseau. Big up our Rob.
Bruh.
What a cool guy. Alright, okay. We're over that now.
The state says there is no sign of any deliberate Israeli war crimes in Gaza conflict. Twitter user Rob Rousseau replied, "We've all been..."
Twitter user Rob Rousseau. He should use that in an alert. That is so fucking funny, man. Twitter user Rob Rousseau. Oh, Rob. Shaun did you dirty, bro. That's fucking funny as fuck. Twitter aficionado Rob Rousseau. Okay, please go follow Rob. Go listen to his podcast. He's a great guy. Oh my god, that is so fucking funny, man. That is so fucking funny. Oh, Jesus. Anyway.
Watching a non-stop stream of deliberate Israeli war crimes on our phones for months now. So I'll speak to the younger
known
people
Twitter gremlin.
Here. Things were different back in the olden days before the internet and smartphone cameras. First, you would hear the lie. That hospital we attacked is actually a secret terrorist bunker, or whatever. And then later, you would find out the truth, that it was just a hospital after all. Or you wouldn't find out the truth, and you'd just go on believing the lie. Now, this order of things made sense. Like, temporal sense. It could be outrageous and infuriating if you later discovered that your government or media or military had been lying to you, but
what's that? Yamin Shemal Kos Omnek Ya Israel? That's pretty cool. Left and right, we fucked your mother, Israel. Egyptian chants.
I actually do cuss a little.
Do you?
Also,
What's your favorite curse word?
Probably.
Yeah, that's sick. That's dope. I don't know if we're gonna get to the Libs of TikTok interview today. I think this is probably content for tomorrow. Just to let everyone know, if you've been excited for whatever reason, I don't know why you'd be excited. Yeah, excited to watch my reaction, I imagine, about this. Then this is probably not gonna happen today. We're gonna finish the. We're gonna try and finish the Shaun video, so yeah, just bear with me. Bear with me. Try my best to get through this content. Try my best to stream it for as long as possible, but you know it's difficult. It's difficult.
Less of a sense of.
By the way, we are very, very close. Chat. Still looking for those two people. Is it two people that I need? We got an anonymous £5 donation. Yeah. Still looking for those 3 final people. 3 final £5 donos. We got maybe 20 minutes of the stream left, yeah?
Of personal culpability in the matter, because after
I'm just
all,
looking for
you're
3
just some civilian.
£5
How are you
donos.
supposed to personally
You can do
verify
it,
what
chat.
you're
I believe in
told is
you.
happening in
Yeah?
some war across the globe. But now things are different. Now the hospital has a Twitter page. The doctors are giving live streaming interviews among the bodies.
Yeah.
The staff are filming themselves being shot at. You can see the terrified patients without medical supplies in overcrowded, unsanitary conditions. All the violence.
I gave you a big
and
shout
terror
out,
is
Husker.
streaming out live as it happens.
Massive shout
On
out for
social
Husker
media,
Do.
You'll see Israel supporting Western politicians saying they have seen no evidence of Israeli war crimes, right next to videos of Israeli soldiers using Palestinian civilians as human shields,
Literally human shields.
which is a war crime. Because if the IDF decide to use a Palestinian civilian as a human shield, there's someone in a building nearby filming it with a smartphone now. Because
Yeah.
of course there is. The whole thing is just absurd and maddening. That human shield thing happened in the West Bank, by the way. Let me just run through why that's important very quickly. The current Palestinian territories are the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. Now, Hamas does not control the West Bank. Israel's excuse for its war crimes and excessive violence in Gaza, that it is trying to stop Hamas, does not apply in the West Bank. But Israel still commits war crimes there. Last year, even before Hamas's attack in October, Israeli forces had killed more than 200 Palestinians in the West Bank alone. In June, the IDF were carrying out airstrikes against a refugee camp in the West Bank.
Yeah,
This
Janine.
is just the daily reality for Palestinians. Anyway, one other thing we have now that we never used to have is automatic translation software integrated into social media.
Yep.
Now you can click Translate
Oh.
Post and see his
Sir Demon with the £10. Holy fucking shit. Thank you so much. Sir Demon, thank you so much for subbing off Twitch. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. Chat, we're literally 3... Listen. I said 3 £5 donos. Now, here's the reality. I'll be happy with a £2 58 dono, because that'll take us to £500, and then we're on target. Yeah, £2 58. Yeah, we're nearly there, chat. Amazing. Who would have thunk it that the chat could do this? Who would have thunk it? Me, because you're all amazing. That's right. Right, that's enough of that. Okay. One more dono, £2 58. I believe in you, chat. Yeah? Entirely possible.
Israeli politicians saying to a domestic audience that they support ethnic cleansing and the likes. What would previously have been hidden or downplayed,
Thank you so much, Sir Demon. Thank you so much for supporting the stream.
For an international audience is just out there for all to see. There's no comforting, plausible deniability anymore, because we know what's going on. We often know
I just noticed that the dono bar is like off the screen.
ahead of the news hitting the mainstream media. We often know before the politicians have even had a chance to lie to us about it. We know before the dust settles and investigations into war crimes start or don't, and we still have to watch it all slowly play out the same as if we didn't know. It used to be said that a lie can get around the world before the truth can
Yeah,
get
every
spooked.
Zionist
But
accusation a
today we're
confession.
often
That's right,
seeing the
Crystal.
opposite happen. The truth is arriving before the lies. If you look at the coverage and international reaction to the horrors unfolding in Gaza and feel like you're living in some...
Again, this is why currently when they detain Palestinians in Gaza for any reason, to take them as prisoners of war, hostages, torture them, all that kind of shit, the first thing they will do is take their phones off them. That's what they fucking do.
sort of bizarro world. I think this is a big part of why. The older power structures just can't keep up with the internet. Now, you might be tempted to fall into despair with how little that seems to matter. You know, even if you do know the truth, the system seemingly just keeps on as it was, even if it has to deny reality. The United States wants a power base in the Middle East, a belligerent state it can sell arms to project power from, and so on. And it wants that more than it cares about the lives of Palestinian people.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
Israel
correct.
gets all the arms and diplomatic cover it wants. It's incredibly depressing. But one important thing to point out here is that the United States is willing to tell Israel to get lost, and do things that Israel does not want the United States to do. Israel does not like it when the United States deals favourably with or sells arms to their regional enemies, for instance. One reason it's important to point this out is that there's a bigoted anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that the United States backs Israel only because of some nefarious Jewish plot to infiltrate and control the government.
Right.
But that just isn't borne out in reality. There are plenty of times the United States has, when they've come...
This is what I was talking about earlier, where it's like the United States gives money to Israel, and then conversely, Israel uses that money to lobby more funding and more support for Israel, right? So it's not Israel controlling the fucking world. It's not Jewish people controlling the world. It's the United States controlling the world. You know what I mean? It's very easy to get bogged down in that conversation. Yeah, there doesn't need to be a nefarious plot. It just made it legal to bribe Congress. That's the thing, right? That's the fucking thing.
To conflict, ranked its own interests above Israel's.
You can get bogged down in that shit, but
when Israeli aggression towards the Palestinians or its neighbours has been halted by an order from the US president, using all that leverage they have. This could be for a few reasons. The conscience of the president, or more likely either domestic political concerns or a more far-sighted view of foreign policy than the politicians running Israel have. The US is typically happy to support Israel in its ethnic cleansing campaign.
Yep.
They just prefer it happen quietly and less embarrassingly.
that is exactly what it is. That is. Do you remember, chat? A couple of fucking weeks ago, or maybe even a month ago, or something like that, I said, because they were talking about Biden being embarrassed. Biden is embarrassed. Biden is annoyed with Netanyahu. And he's not annoyed with Netanyahu because he's doing ethnic cleansing. No, he's annoyed with Netanyahu because he's doing it very fucking loudly and obviously. And the entire world can see it now. And the entire world is looking at the US and going, hang on a minute, lad. That's you doing that, innit? That's what it is. That's why he's pissed off.
Maybe they also realise that without someone to step in and tell them no every now and then, Israel will self-destruct in a spiral of genocidal hatred. Unfortunately, Joe Biden is one of the worst people on the planet to be the American president right at this moment.
Yeah.
Seemingly infinite patience for spirals of genocidal hatred.
Biden was calling him names behind closed doors. It's fucking nonsense. Fucking absolute fucking nonsense. These people don't know what they're fucking talking about. Fucking liberals who are getting excited because he like walked a bit. Did you see that? You see that the other fucking day? Damn, Joe Biden demonstrating so much power and agility here. Like, are you joking? I thought that was satire. I thought that was actually satire. Oh man, look at him walking. He's so strong. Astra!
Known Twitch streamer djmuel.
Fucking let's go! We did it, chat! Thank you so much. We fucking did it. We did it. Give yourself a round of applause. Give yourself a round of applause. We hit the fucking goal. So fucking proud of you, chat. Astra, thank you so much for supporting the stream. Thank you so much for subbing off Twitch. That means we've only got £93 to go. Tomorrow, the day after, yeah, we're going to make it. We're going to fucking make it, chat. It's going to happen. And that means we're going to unlock that educational stream, that educational gaming stream. Yeah? That's what we're going to be unlocking. Very excited. And don't forget, this week we've got movie night on Saturday at 8 p.m. We're going to be watching Cade, the something or other. It's a Neil Breen film. It's very, very bad. It's really, really funny. You're going to enjoy it, chat. Yeah? If you've never been to a movie night before, this is one that you can't miss. Yeah? Don't fucking miss it. It's going to be very, very good. Here's the Discord if you're not in there already. And this Friday, I'm going to be playing a horror game. This is part of last month's incentive. Yeah? It's called Home Safety Hotline. So stick around. Friday night, first stream of the month. Playing some cheeky Vibby games on Friday night. So just be aware of that. But thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for everybody who's donating. It means that if we want to hit the We just need 20 more £5 donos. And we can easily split that up with like 10 tomorrow and 10 the day after. Easily doable, chat. It's going to happen. Sleepy Catherine, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? What a world we live in. A president walking has to be celebrated. It's embarrassing, actually. It's completely fucking embarrassing, isn't it? Didn't realize it'd make quite so much noise. What, the dono? Is it too loud? Look at how spry he is. Too bad he spent all of his energy looking spry for that photo op. No policy for the rest of the week. I know, yeah. So bad. I haven't heard about the walking business. Oh, I gotta find it, man. I gotta find it now. President Biden walking tweet. They're so stupid, man. So fucking stupid. Why does the White House post videos of Biden walking? This is from 2021. The noise was fine, just humorous. Okay, good. Has anyone got the tweet? I'm gonna have to fucking search for it. Biden walking. Okay, well, this is like a right winger, but I think this is like the same. This is the same video that they posted. This is the same video that libs were like talking about. Look how strong his pose is or some shit. Yeah, the Wyden. Yeah, Joe Wyden. They're like, look at his confidence. Look how much he can walk, and it's insane. Absolutely insane. Oh, fucking hell, man. So annoying. So fucking annoying. Yeah, I want to see the Wyden. That's got to be an alert, right? That's got to be a fucking alert.
And his inability to remember things. Back in the 80s, when even Republican President Ronald Reagan ordered Israel to stop bombing Lebanon, a younger Joe Biden reportedly
proof of meritocracy,
he would go even further than Israel, even to the point of stating he supported killing women and children.
Yep.
Biden's position was so extreme that even the then Israeli Prime Minister distanced himself from Biden's comments. So, okay. The situation is bleak and depressing. The death toll is climbing. Social media feeds and news media are filled with images of war crimes and murders and atrocities.
There it is, dude.
The person most able to leverage an immediate...
I didn't really give you like a massive shout out or anything. It's just I just mentioned it. Something that you'd said in the chat in passing. It's about the Yad Vashem thing. So yeah, there you go. Yeah.
End to all of this is not doing so. So
Biden outflanking Reagan, but to the right. Yeah.
Well, I honestly don't know. I can't see the future. So I'm going to go on a
thank you for the follow. Appreciate that.
Tell you about a feeling that I have. The Ones Who Walk Away from Omeless is a 1973 short work
Ursula K. Le Guin
fiction by American writer Ursula K. Le Guin. The story paints a scene for the reader. It's a splendid summer festival taking place in Omeless, a utopian city bright towered by the sea. Omeless is presented as a place of incredible happiness and celebration. The people are joyous and content.
Risk inverse, that's very true. Straight peasant mentality being expressed in the walking content. Look at the king, such strength, such beauty, yeah. Yeah, literally. What is this, Liz? Fucking peasant mentality, man. Fucking peasant mentality. Hold up. Let's check this out. Stop that. Oi! Fucking chewing on that fucking net again. Fucking hell, man. Yes, that's right, dickhead. I heard you.
We're close. We're not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday, we'll have a ceasefire.
Start, sir?
Well, I hope by the beginning of the weekend. I mean, the end of the weekend. At least my...
This is fucking nuts, man. This is fucking nuts. He's just like having a fucking ice cream. When was this? An hour ago. An hour ago? This was an hour ago? Fucking Fuck
My
this
national
shit,
security
man.
advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. It's not done yet.
Bro, you could do it today. If you really wanted it, you could do it today. It was yesterday? Yeah, well, still, you know. God, it's fucking... If this isn't the most accurate representation of neoliberal faux progressives, I don't know what is. This is the most accurate representation of that kind of a person. Literally eating an ice cream, probably made with, like, you know, cows that were fucking, like, raised by immigrant farmers and shit like that, like dairy farmers. So, like, punishing the fucking animal, sexually assaulting the animal, and sat there in, like, a shop that's probably run by a piece of shit who doesn't pay his fucking migrant workforce enough money to actually serve anyone, like, you know, to actually live and survive and shit like that. All the while, the fucking money that this guy has decided to use an executive order to send to Israel, and that is now being used by Israel to do ethnic cleansing and genocide. Like, this is the most accurate representation of everything that is fucking wrong in our world. Literally.
And my hope is by next Monday, we'll have a ceasefire.
Yeah, fuck this guy. Fuck him, man. Fucking stupid fuck.
No war or crime or poverty or inequality. It is as perfect a society as you can imagine. And the reader is urged by the narrator
please relax.
to make edits to their own imaginary Omelas if they feel it warrants it. If the citizens of Omelas seem too prim and proper for your tastes, you're encouraged to imagine some sex and drugs in there if that's what you want. If you want them to have modern or even future technology, you're free to imagine that. The narrator offers their opinions on what they think Omelas is like, but it is only an opinion. For the piece to work to its intended effect, the reader needs to believe that Omelas is a utopia, whatever that means for them. The Omelas you end up imagining is thus a collaborative effort on behalf of the writer and the reader. After introducing Omelas and its people in all their splendor,
he does look a bit like Butthead.
The narrator goes on to describe one more thing about the city, its singular sin. By some magical contract or other, the abundance and beauty and joy of Omelas requires that one child of the city be kept in a state of miserable isolation and poverty. In a cellar under one of the buildings of the city, a single child is kept alone, filthy, starving, and ignored. And the terms of whatever contract brought this about are so strict that even a single word or act of kindness towards the child would break the utopian spell on the city.
Very true. Hey, listen, chat. I got bad news. And the bad news is that gotta go and do activist shit. So it's not necessarily bad news, is it? But it does mean that the stream is over, which is bad news for everyone. So, unfortunate. However, never fear, there will be another stream tomorrow. Hit me up on the socials if you're not already. All my socials are there in the chat. Go follow them. And we're also going to raid someone now on the platform that is known as Twitch. If you're on YouTube, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. But we are indeed going to be checking out a bunch of other stuff tomorrow. Libs of TikTok interview. Also, what else do we got? Some other stuff. I might be watching this video that Ugopnik is talking about. We're gonna go raid Ugopnik anyway. How do I do this real quick? There we go. Fuck's sake, why does this not fucking work, man? This is so stressful. Copy, paste. Right, there we go. All right. Yeah, we're gonna go raid Ugopnik. He's streaming. The title says Psychotic Genocide Denying Streamers Propaganda 101, Birth of Advertising, something else. Right, so there's a bunch of other stuff going down. So let's check it out. Holy shit, that's a lot of viewers. You know, I gotta keep streaming at this time, man. I gotta keep streaming at this fucking time. Because it's much better for me. So, okay, expect to stream at this time tomorrow. And hopefully I'll be going on for a long, you know, a longer time. Lucid raided the wrong Ugopnik channel. Easy mistake to make. critical support to Lucid, making that mistake. Anyway, listen, chat, thank you so much, everybody, for donating today. Thank you so much, everybody, for subbing. Thank you for the raid, Unelectable Airwaves. Thank you for the follows. Really appreciate that. Thank you for chatting. Thank you for just hanging out. And thank you for lurking as well. Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate all of you. I will be back tomorrow. If you've been watching this stream on the VOD channel, please like, comment, subscribe. That really helps me out as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. Peace. Stay excellent to each other. Bye, 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 bye.